Ladies and gentlemen, the best time of year is upon us for the college basketball calendar. Welcome to NCAA Women's March Madness coverage here on WVOF Sports, live from Columbus, Ohio and Value City Arena. I'm Andrew Jameson, joined alongside Michael Keller. Thank you for listening to WVOF Sports coverage of Fairfield women's basketball. Not in the MAC anymore, Mike. Certainly the biggest stage Fairfield wants to be against the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, who come into today's game ranked number 22 in the latest AP poll. But both teams is talented from top to bottom, and it should be an exciting one here, star-studded matchup.
Exactly. These two teams are both ready for the moment. They are here. They have gotten themselves here, winning their tournaments or getting their at-large bids, and they are here in Ohio in the Ohio State Buckeyes Arena, ready to play some basketball.
And we did just come off that. This will be the second game in the Columbus Regional. First game, Ohio State Buckeyes convincingly beat the Howard Bison, who actually beat the Fairfield Stags 1 point back on December 5th. But certainly the wins and losses don't matter during this time of year. Let's take a look now at some of how we got here. So Notre Dame come into the year, come into the tournament, losing the ACC semifinal game to Duke 65-63, but they've been playing some of their best basketball as of late, having won 9 of their last 11 overall and making their 5th straight NCAA tournament appearance, all under head coach Neely Ivy, who is making her in her 6th season.
Yes, I mean, Notre Dame very much playing at their best level, winning 9 out of the last 11, again, losing to Duke. But they are really starting to get a hold on it. You have Hannah Hidalgo, you have Kassan Prosper, but all this team really needs is just a spark, and their defense has been one of those calling cards, as we'll talk about later.
And we talked about Neil Ivy yesterday during the press conference. He said this is a business trip. As a matter of fact, this is the first time since 2022 where Notre Dame is not hosting a regional, but, you know, that thing doesn't matter according to the players when we talk to Hidalgo and Prosper yesterday. You know, yes, the love of the fans is great, and actually they've had a great turnout here so far, as do the Fairfield crowd, which is right behind us. But let's talk about these Fairfield Stags, back-to-back MAC champions, heading into March Madness with 41 AP votes. They were ranked number 25 in Week 18 of the poll, and they're making their 3rd straight NCAA appearance, having won 11 in a row, but still trying to get over that hump and win their first March Madness game in program history.
Yeah, they are really hungry for this. Again, as we said in the press conference yesterday as well, Fairfield also really giving their flowers to Notre Dame, but also saying they are ready for the moment. Both Coach Carly Thibault-Dudanis and the players in Meg Anderson, Janelle Brown, and Katie Lamoureux all discussed how this is the moment they are ready for, that the schedule that they have been provided this season, both non-conference and in-conference play, has helped prepare them for this moment to get them to this grand stage on March Madness.
No, and certainly the non-conference schedule has certainly been a storyline this year, with the likes of Villanova to open the season, winning on the road by double digits, beating Richmond on the road by 20. And even in the loss against North Carolina and Iowa, Fairfield got off to hot starts, double-digit leads, but now it's just a matter of maintaining that consistency and playing a solid 40 minutes from start to finish. But I like what you said about the in-conference. You know, that wasn't easy either. Quinnipiac was also received an AP vote throughout the year, and that MAC championship certainly wasn't a cakewalk. 51-44 over the Quinnipiac Bobcats to win their back-to-back MAC championships, despite being the number 2 seed.
Yeah, I mean, Fairfield really had to play hard. And one thing, if you ever have watched Fairfield basketball, or if you were watching the MAC tournament, especially when you saw in that Merrimack game and in that championship game against Quinnipiac, you saw that defensive intensity start to turn up. They started to create more turnovers. They started to play harder, and they started to get more opportunities from themselves. I don't see that stopping today. I think that is going to be one of the big points of emphasis for Coach Thibault-Dudanis, is to get the defense running and to get the offense. That'll in turn get the offense running.
Well, if you want to talk about defense, I don't think there's a better defensive player in all of women's college basketball than Notre Dame's Hannah Hidalgo, who led the nation with steals with 5.4 per game and was the ACC player and defensive player of the year.
Yes, I mean, a lot of accolades for both Hidalgo and for Kassan Prosper. Again, ACC player and defensive player of the year, all ACC first team, and the all defensive team as well, and also the only Notre Dame player to be announced as the ACC first team on the championship team. Additionally, she is currently in contention for the Naismith Player of the Year and Defensive Player of the Year. She's a semifinalist currently in that. And the Dawn and Staley finalist, which really emphasizes the ideas of handling, scoring the ball, and distributing, which she's all doing at a very high level on this team right now.
I like that you gave love to Prosper there. You know, she had only started 7 games in her first 3 years at Notre Dame, but she stayed healthy this year. She's developed a role. You really heard from Coach Ivy yesterday, you know, talking about how she kind of took the reins of this team this summer with a lot of roster turnover, and, you know, she was more than deserving of that ACC Most Improved Player of the Year award. But let's go to the Fairfield Stags side now. You know, you have 2 first-team All-MAC players, add to that 2 unanimous All-MAC players, Katie Lamro and Megan Anderson, who their accolades speak for themselves. However, you know, on the big stage in these types of games, the spotlight only grows more on them.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, both Katie and Meg are really the big point of emphasis for this program right now. Since their freshman year here, they have been lights out, playing very well basketball. Not to mention, let's not forget, Cyan Ko being named to her second All-Third team of the MAC Conference, and then the tournament MVP in Jillian Herder also getting nods. It's a lot of award winners, not to mention even currently on this roster, Janelle Brown, another MAC Player of the Year. Very much a good roster that has a lot of award winners and a lot of depth that can play well in this game.
And we speak time and time again about Fairfield's depth, and Coach Carly Thibodeau has praised that so much time and time again. However, as of late, they've been running a 7 or 8-man rotation, something we're not used to seeing. But Notre Dame, on the other hand, runs a 7-man rotation as well as primarily. What do you expect from both sides in terms of game plan from the coach's perspective?
I would say for both teams, it's going to be a lot of using those top 7. I'd say for Fairfield, maybe potentially digging a little more deeper into their depth, especially at that roadrunner position. If you look at the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, they're a very tall team, and I think that is one of the big things that Fairfield wants to emphasize is when they play taller teams, they want to make sure they can compete and they can get out and get those teams moving. Because I think if they can get those teams moving and they can start creating those open shots, those open threes, and that is what Coach Carly Thibodeau said yesterday, was very much creating the best shot possible for the team. That is what's going to be crucial for them. For Notre Dame, again, they said this in their conferences. It's rely on their defense. It's what's gotten them to this point, and I think it's going to, if they have a chance to go deep in the playoffs, it's what's going to keep them going. And
you mentioned rebounding. That brings us to the tail of the tape. You look at the rebound numbers. Fairfield wasn't as strong, 32.5 per game, 11th in the MAC. But Notre Dame, they just have a little bit more. And, you know, the first 2 games that Fairfield played, at least from 23 to 24 against Indiana, they had to deal with Mackenzie Holmes, a graduate student, All-American, a 6'3" graduate forward at the time. And then last year they had to deal with the 6'6" Aoka Lee. So while Notre Dame has plenty of tall players, Fairfield shouldn't rule them out in the rebounding department, especially with how dominant Cyan Ko has been, you know, in the MAC tournament, as you mentioned, you know, making that all-MAC tournament team, and in the regular season making all-MAC 3rd team.
Yeah, exactly. Cyan Ko is going to be, I think, one of those other crucial pieces tonight that we may not talk about as much. Again, leading the team in rebounds, 5.7 rebounds per game. But if you look at the rest of these stats, it's a very almost even playing field. Yes, you can say, oh, well, Notre Dame plays in the ACC, Fairfield plays in the MAC. Well, you know what? At the end of the day, this is the tail of the tape that we have. And I think at that point, you can say it's a very even matchup. I think the big thing you have to keep in mind, if you look at the bottom of your screen, that steals number, that is going to be the big emphasis point. And that's going to be the big thing that both teams are going to be looking at. How many times can they get steals? How many turnovers is it going to be? How much is that going to play a factor into this game? Is that going to limit potentially offensive opportunities from both teams? That is going to be what is needed for either team, I think, to win tonight's game.
Yeah, we know we attended both press conferences yesterday with head coach Niel Ivey and Coach Carly Thibodeau. You know, and they both send a similar message. Just be us. And what is Notre Dame's bread and butter? Forcing turnovers and relying on your defense. And for Fairfield, it's the three-point ball. I know this team has lived and died by the 3, but we talked about yesterday wanting to not only take a lot of threes, but be efficient in making threes. And they led the nation in three-pointers made per game, almost eclipsing that 12 threes per game mark. What does Stags need to do from three-point range, Mike, today?
I think, again, it's very much just get the open threes. Don't try to be taking so many contested threes. I think that is going to be the biggest emphasis tonight is, and especially Coach Carly said yesterday, they don't want to make it hard on themselves. They want to play their game, and their game is to get the ball moving and to get the defense moving and then open up those easy shots. So if they can do that, that is a good sign for them. Meanwhile, for Notre Dame, again, they also emphasized hone in on the defense, run them off the three-point line, and they say hope that their rotations are right there and they can get the steals and the defensive stops they need.
No, I also liked what you said. There was another tidbit of information. Coach Carly said, Hidalgo's going to get her numbers. There's no containing her. She's that prolific of a player, but, maybe forcing the ball out of her hands and making other, Notre Dame Fighting Irish step up. You mentioned the 7-man rotation that the Irish go with and Coach Ivey sends out. It's got to be a next man up mentality, but that's what March is all about. But let's go with the coaching resumes, if you will. Two certainly very prolific resumes and basketball's been in their blood their entire lives.
Yeah, exactly. You look at Coach Neil Ivey in her 6th season as the head coach, but she's been here a long time, I believe 18 years in the program or in coaching. She has been everywhere for this team. Again, looking at her resume, you see, again, dominance as the head coach, 117-38 overall record and 77-28 conference record with a ACC championship in 2023 and 2024. They've also, again, the last 4 years, made the Sweet 16, so they know the moment. These players know the moments, how to make those deep runs, how to dig in and play very well basketball. Again, another little fun fact is, again, as we said, basketball runs deep in this family. Neil Ivey's son, Jaden Ivey, currently plays for the Chicago Bulls.
Yeah, absolutely. But no, don't underestimate Coach Carly Thibault-Dedonis' experience on their side. You talk about Mike Thibault coaching in Belgium right now. She's the daughter of 3-time WNBA Coach of the Year. Mike Thibault, as we said, cousin, an assistant coach on the Minnesota Lynx. But Fairfield still seeking that first NCAA tournament victory with the Stags. Notre Dame has experience making 5 straight NCAA appearances, but Fairfield does as well. And, when we talked to Megan Anderson and Katie Larimore yesterday, they were talking about they're more calm this year. They feel more grounded. And, being grounded in this type of environment in a win and survive type format that is March Madness, that's arguably as important as you can ask for.
Yeah, exactly. I think that is experience is going to getting to the dance is always amazing to happen, but also winning games is what's going to be crucial. And you saw in practices yesterday, you saw in warm-ups today right now, Fairfield's demeanor seems very calm. Like they know they deserve to be here, and they know that they have a chance, and they know they can make that run. They can be that Cinderella story. They have to just make sure they can perform well, and they make sure they get those open shots and those easy opportunities when they can get them.
Well, speaking of keys to the game, we're going to get to that in a little bit, but first we're going to go to our players to watch. Mike, what do you got there?
Exactly. For Notre Dame, it's the top two. It's Hannah Hidalgo and Kazan Prosper. Both players are doing very well in their respective positions. Hidalgo, again, top scorer, 25.2 points per game, with getting 6.4 rebounds and 5.3 steals per game. In the loss against Duke, she had 24 points. She shot an amazing 10 of 24 from the field, got 8 rebounds and 4 steals. Meanwhile, for Prosper, also, again, getting her scoring, 13.8 points per game. She's doing really well on the rebounding mark with 6.8 rebounds per game. But she's also doing very well defensively. Again, getting 1.7 steals per game and 1.1 blocks per game. That is almost seemingly unheard of in basketball for a big forward to be getting blocks and steals, that many steals in singular games. She may not have had the big scoring numbers against Duke, but she did impact in other ways with 4 rebounds and 4 blocks. Meanwhile, for Fairfield, it's been the big two all season, Katie Larimore and Meg Anderson. They are very much going to be the quintessential pieces of this team to win tonight, to make the upset, and move on to the round of 32. Katie leading the team in points with 17.6. Again, she's making her mark in the assisting and in those steals games. While she didn't have the greatest scoring in the back end of the tournament, she makes her own mark on the defense and the offensive glass, and with 2 blocks and 2 steals against Quinnipiac. Meanwhile, for Meg Anderson, averaging about 16 points a game, getting 4.7 rebounds. And again, same thing with Prosper. Getting the blocks and the steals, I think that's going to be very crucial. Getting those defensive stops, both for the bigs, is going to be very crucial tonight. She had, again, 9 points, 2 blocks, and 2 steals in that matchup against Quinnipiac. Again, that is going to be very much what I think we're going to hear a lot. We're going to hear a lot of these players in Hidalgo, in Prosper, in Larimore, and in Anderson today. And I think that is what's going to be the big marks of which duo is going to outduel each other.
You talk about an individual perspective, which, are all keys to the game. Every person's got to step up. It's a team sport for a reason. But looking from a team perspective, what are keys to the game for both teams there, Mike?
Exactly. Again, as we said numerous times in press conferences yesterday, for Notre Dame, it is create those turnovers. It is hone in on that defense. And as the players stated themselves, the defense is their superpower. They need to get those steals. They are 8th in the nation currently in steals per game, averaging about 13.4, and also top 40 in opponent turnovers per game, just at even 20. But also at the same time, they have to play to their strengths. They cannot try to get in a three-point shooting battle. They only average about 6.5 made threes per game. And I think if you're going to get in a three-point shooting battle and you're not hitting those shots, it's going to be a long night. So again, very much playing to your strengths on offense, hitting those easy field goal attempts, averaging about a little less than 30 field goals a game. Meanwhile, for Fairfield, they emphasize this as well. They know that Notre Dame is going to try to create those turnovers. So it's very much limit those turnovers. Keep the ball in your possession as long as you can. They average about 13.1 turnovers per game. Meanwhile, they gave up about 15 turnovers in the championship game. So again, very crucial that they don't let the turnovers become the story of the game for them. They want to make sure that their offense is playing very well tonight.
Go.
And also at the same time, again, continue to flex that three-point dominance. There's a reason why you're the number 1 team in three-point makes. Show why today. That is going to be very crucial. And at the same time, you're not top 10 in the nation in three-point percentage. Show exactly why you can hit those threes and why that three is so important in today's day and age of basketball.
And, we've got 90 seconds here before tip-off. We're going to go through starters really quickly that were just announced. Mike, who we have for Fairfield?
You're looking at Fairfield. Again, it's been the same starting 5 for a long time, especially since the end of mid to end February and into the MAC tournament. Guard Katie Lamoureux, Sydney Scott, Jillian Herder, and Roadrunners Meg Anderson and Cyan Coe get the start today. This is very much the squad that we all expected to come out for this first game.
And then for Notre Dame, rounding that lineup out will be the All-American Hannah Hidalgo, Vanessa DeJesus, Ayana Moore, Kassan Prosper, and Malaya. Calder should be a good one here as both teams go into their respective benches. We'll be right back for WVOF Sports coverage of Fairfield Women's Basketball NCAA March Madness Round 1. Don't go anywhere, folks. We'll be right back. starters have been just announced live here from Value City Arena here in Columbus, Ohio. Our game officials for the day will be Edward Sedlasky, Teresa Stuck, Crystal Apolendez, and on standby will be Kara Saggy. Fairfield will be in red going from left to right on the TV perspective, and Notre Dame Fighting Irish in white going to be going from right to left. Great turnout here, Mike. Should be a fascinating one. Certainly ESPN has taken notice as we're on the mainstream today.
Exactly. I mean, both teams very much having their fans show out, both for Notre Dame and for Fairfield. But also at the same time, the Ohio State crowd, much of that crowd stayed to watch this game. A little bit of fan surveying of which team they may face in the second round.
It is always the best time of year, especially from a non-conference perspective. You get to see what other teams are about. Both these teams are so unique in so many different ways, and it's really an exciting spectacle of basketball that we're going to be treated to here today as we're just about set here, and Prosper wins the tip on Coe, and DeJesus will take it up. Herder guarding her. That's up top. This is Coles. Shifts off to Hidalgo. Coles, nice pass to Prosper, gets by into the paint for two.
If you're Notre Dame, that's exactly kind of how you wanted to start it. Get Fairfield's defense moving, create some easy shots in the paint.
And Cyan Coe's going to have it up here. Cole's giving her some room on the perimeter. Passes off to Anderson. Anderson finds Herder. Herder goes back on the perimeter to Cy. Lamro on top of the key. Her three, that is misses just about everything. Hidalgo scoops it up.
Hidalgo pushing the pace, really trying to make sure Fairfield does not get set on defense.
Yeah, and Coe's all over her there. Finds more. Lamro on her. A lot of communication here early with Meg poke the ball. And it will be Fairfield ball as that's forced a turnover. Good help defense there by Lamro with Anderson initially guarding there.
Exactly. That's exactly what we talked about. They need to get pressure on Notre Dame. They cannot let them just play their set offense. They need to get their internal clock sped up.
Yeah, but DeJesus right there with the poke there. Fairfield retain possession.
Again, very much early, just figuring out their defenses, trying to figure out where each defense maybe has a little chink in that chain of their defense.
And 6 of the 7 primary Notre Dame rotation players average at least 1 steal a game. Important to note there, that pesky ball hawk mentality shown early here. Coe hesitates on the arc, but goes into the paint on Coles. Works on her, puts it up, rims out, unlucky roll there.
Good shot attempt by Cyan, just did not fall.
No, I think Coach Carley loved that shot too, have a good look shot. Hidalgo there gets it from the elbow.
And again, that's just seemingly her bread and butter right inside.
And Fairfield's pushing it, and it pays off there as Lamro finds Coe on the football pass.
Exactly. Great pass right there, and a great shot by Coe to get Fairfield on the board to start.
DeJesus going to take it up here, 4-2 early. And that is Prosper on the perimeter. She cuts, gets by Coe, and gets the 2. But then a bunny missed by Hidalgo there on the steal. She gets another one. That's just her bread and butter right there defensively, and she's letting Fairfield know it.
Exactly. I mean, if you're Fairfield, you cannot let just those easy steals turn into easy points right there. You got to make sure the ball gets in safely, and you got to make sure you get up court.
No, and Janelle Brown, first thing she said in the press conference, we got to control the ball and keep it. Herder on the perimeter here. MVP in the MAC tournament. Lammer on the perimeter, Prosper guarding her. Cuts on her. Her turnaround. Hits the back rim, no good. Rebound there by Moore. She's pushing it. Lammer on Prosper. Prosper has the size advantage. That's a 2-pointer there from Moore, and that rims out. Good board by Anderson.
Something I think that fans should keep an eye on very much is going to be that guard matchup as well, with who is going to be guarding Hidalgo. Right now it's been Lamro. I would expect it's very much a heavy dose of Lamro and Janelle to start this game.
Nice pass there by Herder to find Anderson. Two nice assists for 2 early buckets.
Exactly, and one thing we've seen very much with Fairfield is while they take a lot of threes, they very much also started to get shots in the paint. They've started to attack that paint a lot more often, and I think that's very much helped their offense, not having to heavily rely so much on that 3-point ball.
Both teams going to go to their bench early as 2 players from each team are at the scorekeeper's table. Prosper on Coe here at the moment. Hidalgo, nice jump there to get the pass from Prosper, cross court. Hidalgo, step back 3. No good there. I spoke too soon. Lucky bounce, 3 good.
And this is where, again, if you're Fairfield, you just need to put your head down and get to the next play.
And Anderson's going to go to work on Prosper here. Prosper with a poke there. Hidalgo was in that play again, but Fairfield will retain possession as we have Janelle Brown and Lauren Beach checking in for Fairfield.
Meanwhile, for Notre Dame, it's going to be Giselia Sanchez and KK Bransford. For Sanchez, this is actually going to be her second time facing Fairfield. She was on that Kansas State team last year that beat Fairfield in the first round. So it's going to be very interesting to see how Sanchez plays against this team, knowing that she's played them before.
Yeah, Coach Carly, though, opting for experience with her 2 grad student captains on the court right now. Hidalgo just being a pest on Lamro right now, but gets it to Anderson. Anderson finds Lamro on the perimeter. 6 on the shot clock. Bounce pass to Janelle Brown. Her 3. Good, and that's a good tone setter for Fairfield. Only second 3 of the game, but one's gone down.
Exactly, and again, Janelle Brown, very good three-point shooter, shooting about 33% from 3. So if she can get that three-point shot going, all of a sudden that's going to help this offense very much more with depth starting to score for Fairfield.
No, and Fairfield has struggled with 3 in their first 2 games in March Madness the last 2 years against Indiana and Kansas State. Lob pass to Prosper, good, but Herder pokes it loose, but Prosper gets it back. That shot is short. Anderson with the rebound going the other way.
I think Lauren Beach is going to be another X factor in this game, especially against Prosper, along with Coe guarding Prosper and limiting her attempts.
Janelle Brown got caught on Prosper, opts to go to Beach. Beach loses it, but recovers. Nice bounce pass to Herder, her lay. No good there. And just like that, we're almost halfway through the first quarter, and that was just the first foul of the game in this high-flying game so far.
Exactly. I mean, you're looking at the stats right now. Notre Dame shooting about 62%, Fairfield 50%. Again, Notre Dame with the 1 3-pointer, Fairfield having 50%. It's very much seemingly like an even game right now. Neither team has just figured out a way to just start to build that lead. Obviously, I think it's going to stay like this for a while. We'll see who gets the first punch. Herder
going to the line for a first free throw of the game, and that is no good. That foul was on KK Bransford. It'll be her first foul of the game, first team foul. Herder knocks down the second. It's a 3-point game, 11-8. Notre Dame just short of the halfway point in the first quarter. DeJesus going to take the ball up here. Finds number 30, who is Gisela Sanchez. Hidalgo working on Lamro. Her 3. Short. Rebound there by Herder. Herder hesitates, but Anderson finds Janelle Brown. Her 3. Short. Good hustle on the follow through, but it looks like it. So Notre Dame will be out of bounds. I believe Notre Dame possession there, but media timeout nonetheless. 11-8. Is our score. Mike, certainly an exciting first quarter so far.
Exactly. I mean, both teams very much coming out high and flying. They're really trying to push the pace, trying to push the tempo. I think you look for Fairfield a little bit. Right now, they're kind of slowly starting to get there, but you also see sometimes that ball is just kind of acting like a little bit of a pinball right now. I think it's going to be what's crucial, and I think what Coach Carly is going to be talking about in this huddle is very much, hey, let's take a breath. We're here. We're only down 3. We're here to play. Let's make sure we continue to play by our principles. Let's not turn that ball over so easily. Let's make sure we play well.
Folks, this broadcast of the NCAA Division I Women's Basketball Championship is authorized under broadcast rights granted by the NCAA through Westwood 1. It is intended solely for the private, non-commercial use of our audience. Any reproduction, retransmission, or other use of this broadcast without the express written consent of the NCAA and Westwood 1 is strictly prohibited.
Once again, you're kind of looking at the stats right now. It's kind of what we expected right now. It's both Prosper, Notre Dame, it's both Prosper and it's Hidalgo. Both of them combining for both all 11 points, Hidalgo having 7. So it's kind of that expectation that, yes, Hidalgo's going to get her points, but it's right now you're not allowing any other player really to start getting out there and start scoring. Meanwhile, for Fairfield, Janelle Brown leading the team with 3 points, and then with Cyan Coe and Meg Anderson having 2. You want to just see, especially with Meg Anderson and with a Katie Lamro, when they play, you just want to see them get those shots to fall. I think especially for Katie, once those shots start to fall, her confidence starts to get there. And then you start to see that on the defensive end, where she starts to play much more tenacious, much more aggressive. And I think the same thing with Janelle Brown. Once she starts to get scoring, all of a sudden that confidence is going to get going. And all of a sudden now she's going to play hard, and she's going to play hard on defense and try to create those turnovers for Fairfield.
You know, it absolutely could be worse if you're Fairfield. You know, remember last year was a 7-0 run by Kansas State early in the game that forced a Fairfield timeout. But hey, you're only down 3 right now to Notre Dame. But Hidalgo certainly has been everywhere on that play. Yeah, she had a bucket and then stole it right back from Laramore. But that just goes to show the emphasis. Fairfield, you can never let your guard down, and ball security is at utmost importance right now.
Yeah, exactly. You just cannot allow those easy turnovers right now. You know that at some point, both these teams are going to throw full court presses on you at some point. Hidalgo is just going to probably do that on her own because of the fact that she can get those steals, because she knows how to play really well defensively, how to pickpocket a player. I think what's going to be very crucial for Fairfield right now is to just find ways to just get easy inbound passes and just get up the court so you can play your set offense, so you can make those easy shots.
Yeah, and you know, both teams shooting relatively well from the court so far. Notre Dame 56%, 1 of 2 from 3. Fairfield 43%, 1 of 3 from 3. But you mentioned it's a matter of who can string together shots consistently and go on that first run and set the tone. We know both of these teams love playing from ahead. Fairfield have one of the widest margins of victory per game in all of the country, and they love jumping out to leads, as we've seen time and time throughout this year. It happened with Sacred Heart, Merrimack, and you know they lead the MAC in wire-to-wire victories this season. But we'll be resuming here as DeJesus will take the ball up. Nellie Brown all over her. Hidalgo finds the ball. Laramore on her. You can see her playing a little bit more tighter defense coming out of this timeout. Beach going to switch on to her. Bransford now has the ball. Anderson on her. More Herder on her. Creates a little bit of separation, but finds DeJesus. Her 3. High arcing shot, no good. Rebound, Laramore.
And a great tap by Beach right there with Sanchez on Laramore guarding Sanchez right there. Beach tipping it out so that it's an easy rebound for Fairfield.
Herder with the cut here. She'll get it up and she'll get it to go. Nice work there on Sanchez.
Exactly. I mean, very much just a little stop and pop right there. Getting an easy shot and again having Sanchez just fly by her.
Fairfield on a 6-0 run over the last 2 minutes. Notre Dame no points in the last 2.5 minutes here, looking to break that. Here is Moore, cuts on Beach. Gonna get a foul there, though. That was a nice move there by Moore to get Beach to jump and create separation.
Yeah, and if you're Fairfield right now, again, you'll take that. You'd rather have them make their free throws rather than try to give up easy points right there.
Yeah, and you know, Notre Dame on the year, we talked, their free throw percentage as a team, 78.7%, which is very good by NCAA standards, but more specifically a 90.2% free throw shooter, certainly one of the last Irish you want at the free throw line. She makes her first one there.
Yeah, and again, one of two players on this team that average about 90% from the free throw line right now. So very much free throws are going to be also crucial at this point in the game.
Moore, the third leading scorer on the team, misses the second. She averages 12 a game. Laramore going to take it quickly on the rebound. Anderson stops, finds Laramore. Laramore at the top of the perimeter, cuts. Prosper switch. Laramore's 3, no good. Good rebound there by Coles.
Exactly.
Hidalgo's going to cut, find Moore on the corner. Her 3, good.
And a great job by Hidalgo right there. Just penetrate the defense, have the defense collapse in, and then all of a sudden create an open shot for them.
Yeah, and Fairfield going to, we talked about not wanting to go tit for tat offensively here, just need quality. You know, Notre Dame is shooting so far 55% from the game. Herder's going to stop here. Her deep 3, no good. Felt a little bit forced there.
Exactly. I think right now Fairfield trying to just stay within range of Notre Dame, so they just cannot just try to go shot for shot and all of a sudden create problems for them.
Good forced turnover there. Fairfield all over it, but Bransford finds the 2 off the nice pass by Coles in the paint. Laramore now wants to find Coe inside. Coles tightly on her. Laramore gets separation, but Coles with the switch. Laramore football pass to Coe. No good there, but Hidalgo once again there disrupting that play.
Again, Hidalgo being on the shorter side compared to Cyan Coe.
And Nellie Brown drawing the offensive foul there. She is as tenacious as they come. We saw in the press conference yesterday, Pitbull is how she has been described by her coaches and teammates.
Yeah, and again, very much the Nellie Brown that we know and love. Very much great on defense, will cause those turnovers just by giving up her body. She wants to make sure that she keeps Fairfield in this game and puts Fairfield in a great position to score.
So that's going to be on Coles. That's going to be her first foul of the game. Laramore going to take it up court here. Finds Anderson in the corner. A little bit of a dangerous pass there. 17-10's our score. Anderson, no good on the 3 there. Hidalgo the rebound. She's already got 3 rebounds and 7 points.
And right now Notre Dame being on a 6-0 run in about the last 140, and Fairfield on a 2-minute scoring drought.
And DeJesus in the corner again, no good. Coe has the rebound. Scott didn't see the ball. A little bit of miscommunication there. Notre Dame regains possession.
Right there, again, you got to make sure you keep your head on a swivel for both teams, especially for Fairfield, making sure you get the ball and you get it up court if you want to create transition offense.
Hidalgo taking her time, her finish, no good. Rebound Coe. Felt like she was at will on that possession there, Mike.
Exactly. I mean, Hidalgo is going to be everywhere all game. She's going to make her impact known, and she's going to make sure she puts Notre Dame in the best position to win this game.
Janelle Brown cuts on Moore. They're going to get a foul on the floor there. That'll be Moore's first, team's third. Lauren Beach will check into the game here for Cyan Co. 17-10 here, 1 minute 17 to go in the first quarter. Mike, as you mentioned, Notre Dame 6-0 run the last 2:23. Fairfield scores in their last 2:42. Game of runs could certainly be this way for the entire game.
Exactly right there. It's going to be very much for Fairfield. Can they just get a good shot and a good looking shot to start?
Nice find by Nelly to Beach there. She just couldn't finish that one home. May have been tipped there by Coles.
Yeah, and again, very much another issue coming about as Fairfield is now 0-4 in their last field goals. They just need to find a way to just get an open shot and just to see one go down.
Important minutes here as Hidalgo is on the bench. Fairfield will want to have momentum heading into the second quarter, but Prosper working on Anderson. Tough shot there. Nice defense there.
And right now with Hidalgo off the bench, and again, it's going to be very limited. She does average about 33 minutes per game. It's going to be very crucial to get good offensive possessions in this game.
Absolutely. Beach was wide open in the corner, but dribbles it out to find Anderson. Her elbow shot, good. And that's what much needed bucket for Fairfield there.
Exactly. Meg Anderson needs to be one of those top scorers for this team to have a really good chance to win this game.
And DeJesus, Nelly going to go with a full court press, channeling her own hand, Hidalgo in a sense, as she has done so far this game. Nelly gets caught in between a screen. Didn't get beat there, but good defense, way to stay with it. Finds Meg.
And it looks like they're going to get a traveling call on Meg Anderson as she did stop, dribble, and then dribble before she made the shot.
Yeah, a little bit of confusion there.
It looks like the refs are going to put some time back on the clock. We don't know exactly how much yet, as Notre Dame immediately went back to the bench, presuming that the first quarter was at an end.
And it looks like here we got 0.3 on the clock, more specifically, but yeah, that traveled there by Anderson. Fairfield already had 5 turnovers in the game. Notre Dame just 2. However, neither team has scored a point off turnover to capitalize on mistakes.
And that right now has, I think, been a big thing that we have to keep an eye on.
And that will officially be the end of the first quarter here. Notre Dame 17-12 on the Fairfield Stags. Mike, Notre Dame has played their brand of basketball, but Fairfield isn't going away.
Not exactly. I mean, what's also very interesting that I've seen is the shots by Notre Dame. You don't necessarily see them maybe as a three-point shooting team. Again, per game, they're not averaging that many. They're averaging about 18 threes per game. They already have 5 threes taken, which is really, I think, interesting to me. Again, they average 6.5 3 mades per game. But what's very interesting, it seems like almost Notre Dame wants to try to beat Fairfield at their own game. And I think that's going to be maybe an interesting storyline, especially in this second quarter. Do we see Notre Dame can start to just drive the paint a lot more often? Or are they going to continue to be like, you know what, let's take the threes. If they're there, let's take them. Let's see if they fall. Let's see if we can just get 3 points on that three-point shot.
Yeah, the three-point shot, Notre Dame has 2 primary three-point shooters. Ayana Moore shoots 39% from 3, and Vanessa DeJesus at a 40% clip on the year. So far this game, 2 of 5 for Notre Dame, and just 1 of 6 for Fairfield. We talk about being 3 happy. As you know, it has been Achilles heel for sometimes in Fairfield in the past. How can they go back to dominating the paint? Because, you know, they are winning the rebounding battle 10-8. And, you know, the size mismatch, yes, it may be present, but it's not as discrepant as it has been in years past in the NCAA tournament.
Exactly. I think the big thing is what you've seen is transition game. Fairfield has had a couple buckets that have been in that transition game, whether it's a Megan Anderson or Katie Lee Monroe baseball pass down. It's very much crucial, I think, that if they can get the transition game going, I think it's going to alleviate the need to get three-point shots or any set three-point shots. If the transition game yields a three-point attempt and it's an open three-point attempt, then you know what? That's okay. But right now, I think for Fairfield, they're starting to just slowly dig themselves in and say, you know what? If the three-point shot's not going to fall, how can we get the easy two-point shot?
Fairfield, 1 of 6 from 3, 4 of 7 on two-point shots there. Free throws have been relatively small sample. Both teams have 2 apiece, have gone 1 of 2 each. Fairfield winning the rebound battle, as we mentioned, 10-8. But Notre Dame's steal, which is what they're known for, has been on display early here, 4-0 in favor of the Fighting Irish.
Exactly. I mean, we said right now the big calling card for Notre Dame is going to be that defense. Right now, 5-point lead going into this second quarter, 4 steals. That is very much what I think Coach Ivey is expecting. I think maybe what she's telling her team is, hey, you know what? Let's not get 3 happy. Let's not try to go 1 for 1 for them on 3-point shots. Let's play our game. Let's get those easy shots. Let's use our height advantage to the best of our abilities and get in the paint.
Both teams have, or at least for Notre Dame, they have gone with a 7-man rotation thus far, as has Fairfield, as expected. Mike, what do you think the message in Coach Carly Thibault-Donis's timeout right before the second quarter?
I think the message is this. You held them to the end of that fourth quarter, or to the end of that first quarter, scoreless. You didn't let them make a field goal shot. They are on a scoring drought right now. Let's keep that momentum going into this second quarter. Our defense will turn into offense. Just hang in there. Just keep fighting. Keep fighting for those boards. Keep fighting for those loose balls. Just make it easier for yourself. Don't cause careless turnovers. That is, I think, the message right now. And again, looking at the floor right now, it's very much one of those more experienced teams for Fairfield.
We're going to get underway here in the second quarter. On the court for Fairfield will be Nellie Brown, Lauren Beach, Sydney Scott, Jillian Herder, and Megan Anderson. And for the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, it'll be Prosper, DeJesus, Hidalgo, who's back out there, Moore, and Cole. So the same starting 5 that started the game are starting the second quarter for Notre Dame.
Exactly. I mean, really, very much this starting 5 does play a lot of those minutes, especially Prosper and Hidalgo, both in those around mid-30s in terms of minutes per game. So I think you're very much going to see very light rotation, or especially around DeJesus, Cowles, and Moore. I think those are the 3 you're going to see primarily. I think you're going to see very minimal substitutions with Hidalgo and Prosper just to make sure they get maybe like a minute or 2 so they can be recharged. And
Beach will inbound to Nelly here, and the second quarter is underway. Sydney Scott back into the game, looking for her first points as the ball. Anderson with the tough finish gets the foul draw. Fairfield, nice, sharp, quick passing. They average 17 assists per game, have 4 already. That was another example there.
Exactly. A great cut by Anderson right there. Just gets right downhill and then just gets a good opportunity and gets the foul call.
That's going to go on Coles, so that'll be her second foul. So she's going to check out here. That might be something to watch. Is KK Bransford's going to check into the game as Anderson makes that first free throw. 3 years, 3 first-team All-MAC selections. Certainly can't ask for much better production there, but that second free throw is not going to go as Bransford collects the board.
And again, Coach Ivey talking about Bransford and her versatility on defense, being able to guard that 1 through 5.
Now DeJesus is going to have the ball here. Herder on her. Want her teammates to do something, communicating very often. Beach going to be on DeJesus. Moore's 3. No good. Rebound Beach.
Right now for Fairfield, you're taking the opportunity, limiting them to one and dones. That's going to be crucial right now if you can keep them out of this, keep them from getting second chance opportunities.
And Herder's 3. Just short. Rebound there by Prosper. Hidalgo's going to take it up here. Nice play by Nelly to meet Hidalgo at her own game.
And Nelly, that is Nelly's patent pending move. Just attack when they're going to make a crossover and get a potential shot.
Yeah, she's going to want that finish back there, though. Notre Dame quickly coming down the court, flying. Hidalgo left wide open. Hits the back rim, no good. Rebound, Sydney Scott.
Once again, Hidalgo has 3 free attempts. That's a very interesting statistic. She doesn't, I feel, shoot that many threes. Again, about 25% I believe from the 3-point range on the season.
Lauren Beach going to take it here. Fairfield looking a little bit slower here. This might be a smart play here, just want to get a basket here. Herder, lob pass to Beach. She gets separation, can't get that one to finish, and that's a couple bunnies there for Fairfield, missed.
Yeah, those are bunnies that you would want back as Nellie Brown tries to go for the steal.
And her overzealousness leads to an open more three, and she connects.
Once again, I like the play by Brown, but she again falls down, and there's just doesn't seem like a lot of defensive communication leading to an open three.
Fairfield, 31% on the game, 5 of 16. Have had some good looks this quarter, just haven't been able to capitalize. Herder gets some separation on Bransford. Another missed layup. Herder, that shot is wide. Feels like a little bit sporadic right now, Fairfield's offense, especially in the paint.
And right now, it's just that Notre Dame defense just causing the internal clock to speed up a little bit.
And Hidalgo is going to get fouled there, and that'll be on Nellie Brown. So that'll be her first of the game, but a lot of missed chances here for Fairfield, and they're going to be mixing it up here as Allie Campbell and Katie Lammer are going to check in for Anderson and Brown.
Campbell becoming the 8th stag to enter this game. I kind of thought beforehand that they may go that 8th deep between Milou Von Vliet, the freshman, or Allie Campbell, who is a very experienced player, grad student, transferred from Penn State.
Yeah, certainly a lot of uncharacteristic misses down at that end for Fairfield, ones that they're definitely going to want back. Scoring drought, 2 minutes and 5 minutes for the Stags here. Hidalgo at the free throw line, taking her time. First free throw good. On the year, an 83.5% free throw shooter. She's up to 8 points here early, her first point of the second quarter. Second one good there. Cyan Coe's going to check into the game. That one will be for Lauren Beach. So now on the floor for the Stags, we have Lamro, Campbell, Scott, Coe, Herder. Lamro, 0 of 3 so far, looking for her first points of the game. Finds Herder, who finds Coe. Coe in the paint, working on Sanchez. Her finish. That seems like there's a lid on that rim right now, Mike. No good there again.
Exactly. Several missed bunny shots that would just seem like were there, and they just can't make them.
Hidalgo's elbow shot short. Rebound, Coe.
Great defense by Lamoureux there on the closeout, not letting Hidalgo get an easy shot.
No, and Fairfield needs a bucket here in a bad way to break this dry spell. Coe on Sanchez. Nice defense stand there.
Right there, again, Coe likes to go and use that kind of pivot step, but again, Sanchez just stayed there and did not let her get through.
Moore has it, bounce pass to Hidalgo on the right side. Lamro got tangled up, it looked like a little bit, but Notre Dame makes it pay, and Coach Carly's going to use her first timeout.
Right now, again, Notre Dame entering the 7-0 run in the last 90 seconds. Fairfield scoring drought increasing to 3 minutes. Again, Andrew, we did talk about this a little bit. It felt like at some point that if it seemed like Notre Dame starts to pull away, if Notre Dame starts to get on a run, especially like that 6-7-0 run, you would think Coach Carly takes a timeout. She takes a timeout right here. I think this is very much just more the, hey, let's take a breath. We're going to keep playing hard. At some point, those shots have to fall.
Yeah, no, it looks a little bit like jitters right now, if I have to say, because these have been great looks. Herder in the post, Coe with a layup, Beach with a tip, and, they just haven't fallen. And, that 5 of 20 field goal market, which is good for 25%, is not at the mark it needs to beat a team like the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, who average 77 points per game. We expected this not to be a high-flying, 80 to 70 type scoring game, but, it's got to go up there for Fairfield. You got to execute in this stage,
Exactly.
Looking at other stats here, 3-point range. Fairfield just 1 of 7, 14%. Notre Dame 3 of 8, 38%. They have played good defense on Notre Dame for the most part. However, it's overzealousness that Notre Dame's been capitalizing on recently in the 7-0 run.
Exactly, and I think very much another thing you got to keep in mind is also you're looking at the steals. Notre Dame hasn't gotten a steal in the second quarter, so you're playing very well. You're keeping the ball in your hands and you're getting shot opportunities. And again, looking at the turnover battle, it's right now Fairfield 5, Notre Dame 3, so still very even in that. It just right now is just those shots just aren't falling at the moment. Maybe it's jitters, maybe it's just because of the internal clock being sped up a little bit by that Notre Dame defense. But at some point, I think Fairfield is going to just make those adjustments, and you may start to see those shots fall. You may start to see some offensive sets where they just try to keep that Notre Dame defense moving. And if they can do that, I think there's a chance that Fairfield starts to go on a run at some point.
And the pace of play has certainly smartly picked up. Both teams are flying down the court. But it hasn't resulted in points off turnovers. However, Notre Dame has 4 steals. Not one yet this quarter, like you mentioned. Fairfield has 1, but, it's just calming down, playing disciplined basketball, controlling the ball. I know we say that. It's ironic that Fairfield doesn't have a turnover yet this quarter. However, it's those bunnies that really need to go in.
Exactly.
I have 6:49 to go here in the second quarter. Our score is 24-13 in favor of the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. The winner of this game will take on the Ohio State Buckeyes on Monday after they defeated the Howard Bison 74-54. And in that game, number 22, if my internet service will load, Jelani Cambridge led the way with 21 points, the unanimous first all Big Ten team honoree. They're certainly a loaded, confident, well represented in this March Madness on the women's side, but certainly is the best time of year here in March, and we're thankful to be along the ride for WVOF Sports from Columbus, Ohio in Value City Arena as Notre Dame is ready, as it will be Hidalgo, DeJesus, Prosper. I believe that is Sanchez will remain in the game, given that Coles has 2 fouls, and Ayanna Moore. And for Fairfield, it will be Anderson, Herder, Beach, Lamro, and Janelle Brown. So, Coach Carley coming out of this timeout, opting for experience to try and decrease this lead that Notre Dame currently has.
Exactly, and again, I think looking to get experience, but also at the same time a little bit of speed, trying to get that offense going, but that defense to move for Notre Dame.
And Lamro finds Anderson, her 3. Rims out, in and out. They're going to get a push there on Sanchez. She pushed Beach to the ground, trying to get separation on that board, and it's a little bit of a silly foul there.
And then again, on that shot by Anderson, a good shot by Anderson. It looked like it was going to bank in, but just, again, lid's still on for now. But again, a good shot opportunity right there. Herder
will inbound the ball, out of bounds. Finds Lamro. That's a scary play there. Lamro and Prosper got tangled up, but it looks like Fairfield will retain possession, but you can see the wingspan of Prosper there paying dividends.
Exactly right there. Again, limiting Lamro's opportunity to move around right there and almost getting the turnover right there. Very much a great defender on all 5 positions, and I think that's going to be crucial today.
So we'll do it again here, this time from the side of the court, as Moore will be on Lamro. Lamro gets into the paint, loses it, but recovers it. Janelle Brown thought about the free, but thought better. Finds Anderson, DeJesus on her. 4 seconds on the shot clock. Anderson hoists it. And out of all the tough shots and easy shots Fairfield had, that one goes in.
Circus shot right there. She's falling to her left, throws it up, and it just lids in.
But Fairfield back within single digits, but Sanchez finds Prosper. They're going to get an offensive foul on Sanchez just like that. 2 fouls apiece for both Sanchez and Coles as KK Bransford's going to check into the game. Some momentum here for Fairfield out of the timeout.
Exactly, and again, Lauren Beach, one of those other players that will put their body on the line creating charges. This team very much love to try to get charge opportunities, and right there, another charge for Fairfield, and hopefully starts to get some momentum for them.
Yeah, and the crowd's getting back into it here a little bit. And Hidalgo gave Lamro a shot there. They're going to push there. You can see Hidalgo, though, has been everywhere and anywhere this game so far.
Exactly. Hidalgo really just about a tenth of a second jumped the pass a little bit more. I think if she was a tenth of a second later, easy pickpocket and an easy 2-point.
So that'll be her first foul of the game on the floor there, but Fairfield will have it at the top of the key here with Janelle Brown. She cuts on to Jesus. Her finish. Gets it to go in a tough bucket, and Nellie Brown, that looked vintage there.
Exactly. Nellie Brown, before her ACL tear against Villanova last season, those shots always were going down, just those downhill drives. This season, not as much, but right now, that's an important bucket right now in this second quarter.
Janelle Brown on Hidalgo now. She has 9. Hidalgo puts it up. Nice roll there to get it to go, and she's feeling it. She's in double digits with 11.
And again, going into this game, I think Fairfield knows Hidalgo's going to get hers, but right now, seemingly still keeping everyone else limited at this point.
Great double team there, and the poke there by Moore, and Hidalgo's on the loose. Oh, and they're going to get a foul there. The Fairfield fans behind us do not like that one.
And it's going to be on Lauren Beach. It seems like the foul will be on Beach, so Hidalgo will go back to the line where she has taken already a couple free throw attempts at this point.
Yep,
going, I believe, 2 for 2 to start. So again, looking to increase her point totals right now.
Yeah, but Fairfield has found some life here a little bit, turning defense into offense, not being afraid to put the body on the line here. As of late out of this timeout, as we approach the under 5 media timeout, that first free throw good by Hidalgo.
Once again, it really is for Notre Dame. It has been Hidalgo who's just been pushing the pace, trying to just get Fairfield's defense to just go on its back heels so that it creates easy opportunities for Notre Dame.
Taking her time with her free throw. Second one goes. She's 4 of 4 now, up to 13. Back double-digit lead for the Fighting Irish. Herder finds Anderson on the perimeter. Anderson back to Herder, a little bit of give-and-go action. Herder working on Bransford. No room to operate, ups to go to Brown. Brown with 10 on the shot clock. Behind the back dribble, cuts onto Jesus. Cross-court pass to Anderson. Anderson puts up a 3. Errant shot there, Hidalgo rebound.
And right there, great defense by Bransford to not allow an easy shot opportunity.
And that shot by Hidalgo short. Fairfield going to get a rebound. But they're going to get a travel there on Beach, and Notre Dame will retain possession.
Again, Hidalgo just battling right there. She was grabbing the ball and trying to call for a jump ball or a steal from Lauren Beach. But again, got Beach to fall down and got the travel call.
So 28-17 is our score. Notre Dame out in front, going into this U5 media timeout. This game is not out of hand yet. Certainly a long ways to go, but Hannah Hidalgo has certainly lived up to the hype and then some thus far, even though her numbers are below 50% shooting, both from field goal range and from the three-point line.
Exactly. Again, she's just finding different ways to just impact this game, whether it's on the defensive end or it's just her ability to push that pace and just get Fairfield just moving around, or it's just her just taking it downhill layup attempts, whether they're difficult or whether they're easy layup attempts.
So looking at a little bit of a deeper dive here, that field goal percentage for Notre Dame is at 43%, but for Fairfield it's still sitting at 29%. Had some tough buckets on the other end with Megan Anderson and Janelle Brown, but Notre Dame's defense is certainly playing a little bit more urgency as this game has progressed, and it's made Fairfield's three-point shooting struggle as they're just 1 of 9 so far from beyond the arc.
Exactly, and I think another thing that's been very interesting to see so far is Hannah Hidalgo guarding Katie Lamoureux. But with Katie Lamoureux 0 of 3 right now from the field, it's seemingly like Hidalgo is now allowing herself to kind of roam a little bit more, because without Lamoureux scoring, it's creating that opportunity to now have one player just freely roaming and just looking for the ball and looking for an opportunity to get a steal.
No, and this has been a pattern for Lamoureux, over the course, especially recently. We talked about that last regular season game against Sacred Heart. She had 0 points in the first half, burst onto the scene for, I believe, 15, ended the game with 15, but then she had a bad game against Merrimack. She was ejected in that game after receiving 2 flagrant 1 fouls, and then, we go to the championship game versus Quinnipiac, just 5 points, 4 rebounds, but she still made her presence felt, 2 blocks, 2 steals. However, Fairfield wants to pull off the upset here and, begin what this Cinderella run of sorts. She's got to start scoring.
Exactly. Right now, it's seemingly just been Janelle Brown and it's been Meg Anderson that have been hitting their shots. Jillian Herder also a little bit struggling, 1 for 5 from the field. It's just seemingly like that defense of Notre Dame, and I've said it several times already, that defense is just so pesky to the point where it's just that extra little movement by Notre Dame that's creating just off shots for Fairfield. And
Megan Anderson does lead the Stags in scoring with 7. Janelle Brown right behind her with 5, but we mentioned Sid Scott has yet to take a shot attempt yet, and Lamoureux 0 of 3 from the field, 0 of 2 from 3. As Prosper, nice switch there, faked it out, but unlucky roll. Great board by Bransford. That's another tough roll. Bransford, another offensive board. Her hard work pays off there. She'll be going to the line for 2 on the foul.
That is going to be, I believe, on Lauren Beach. And that'll be her second foul, so it looks like Cyan Co is going to come in to substitute for Lauren Beach. Meanwhile, for Bransford, again, one of those players that has been on the team a while, 62% free throw shooter. So if you're looking for free throw shooters to foul, Bransford right now is seemingly one of them.
Yeah, KK Bransford, the senior out of Cincinnati, Ohio. She makes the second one there. Yep. As it's 29-17 now. Maddie Anderson at the top has Coe. Prosper giving her room. Anderson takes it. Bransford, not a lot of movement here right now. Fairfield not worried about the shot clock, just need to get a bucket here. Lamro cuts on Bransford, 4 on the shot clock. Her finish. Lucky roll, and that sneaks in. She's on the board.
And again, for Katie Lamro, she likes to just get downhill and take those tough shots.
There again, offensive foul there on DeJesus. Looked like an awkward play there initially. No one knew who the whistle was on, but Fairfield comes away with a stop there as that'll go on DeJesus. That will be her first.
I'm kind of just looking at that play. It just seems like, yeah, she just does extend her forearm right into the face of Lamro, so that just kind of on a replay is an easy call.
But there you go, an offensive foul going the other way. Here, so a little bit of copycat game right here. They're going to get Janelle Brown on the foul on that one. That'll be her second foul, and as a result, Cindy Scott will check in to the game. 29-19 is our score, 3:30 to go in this second quarter.
And Hidalgo right there, again, making her impact known. She was the one who drew the charge on Brown. So, again, great opportunity right there.
And a little bit of pickpocket almost worked there. Herder comes away with it from the crowd. But Moore is able to recover, finds Hidalgo, and they are off to the races. It's a 2-on-2 here. Beautiful pass there by Hidalgo. Able to come away with it, though, is Anderson. Carly wanting the team to slow it down.
Yeah,
Lamro finds Scott. Her 3. Short there, rebound Bransford. That's a good shot there, though, for Sid.
Yeah, that's the open shot. That's the shots you kind of want to take. Get out in transition and just take those open shots when you can.
Hidalgo cuts. No foul there on Lamro. They're going to get out of bounds. Katie Lamro with a nice stop there.
Yeah, again, straight up right there. She does not allow the foul. Looks like Hidalgo trying to maybe draw a foul. Tries to get the rebound just off the fingertips as it goes out of bounds.
Notre Dame, no field goals in the last 2 minutes, 37 seconds, 3 turnovers in the last 90 seconds. So Fairfield playing well defensively.
And again, Fairfield also, another thing to keep an eye on, Fairfield will be in the bonus for the rest of the day. Or the rest of this quarter, I should say. Yeah,
and they're going to get a kick ball there to halt the possession. Fairfield take it from the inbounds. It'll be Herder with 2:36 to go in the first half.
And you're seeing listening right now, Fairfield band and the Fairfield cheer and dance team trying to will their team a little bit with chance of Let's Go Stags.
Herder up top here. Good screen by Coe. Herder going to reset, though. Herder finds Lammer on the top, 6 on the shot clock. She cuts, gets separation, her 3. Good, and she loves that, and Fairfield is back in single digits, and boy, is that a confidence boost.
Yeah, a little bit of a shake and bake on Hidalgo. Got her moving, step back 3, cash money.
Bransford up top here with Anderson. No field goals last 3 minutes and 4 seconds for Notre Dame. Anderson gets a defensive stop on Lamro. Gets it to Sid.
Once again, that tenacious defense attacking right there, creating chaos and creating a little bit of a turnover and some more life for Fairfield as they look.
Looks like Lamro wants the ball here, but it's going to be Coe on Prosper. She's working. Her finish, good block there by Prosper. Good effort there by Coe to try to save possession, but Hidalgo there to scoop it up.
Yeah, Prosper not going to let you get that easy opportunity right there.
Anderson jumps on board there, and she makes her pay. On the 3-point shot.
Again, it's been really a game of transition right there. Both transition defenses having a little bit of some problems. The question is going to be whose transition defense starts to lock in a little more.
And Herder's going to have it on to Jesus here. Good lob pass to Anderson. Her finish, good. See that chemistry there ramping up as Fairfield's up to 5 assists, and Notre Dame's going to take a timeout, and there's some positive momentum here for Fairfield after this in this timeout.
Exactly. Again, Fairfield starting to seemingly find that offense a little bit more. The Katie Lamro sidestep 3 right there. The defense right there by Meg Anderson early on. Yes, it's still an 8-point game, but you're starting, I think Coach Ivy's starting to see Fairfield start to gain that confidence. They're starting to find their way. They're starting to find their rhythm. And when a Fairfield team starts to find its rhythm, whether it's from the 2 or whether it's from the 3, that is a dangerous Fairfield team.
And the second quarter in last year's game against Kansas State in that 85-41 win for the Wildcats was the Fairfield's best quarter. They tied Kansas State 16-6 there, but we talked about, we got to put together a game from start to finish. But, numbers don't matter this time of year. You know, you got to take it one possession at a time and chip away at this lead. And Fairfield has done that. You know, they have not led this game yet, though. Trying to get some more momentum heading into the locker room at halftime.
Yeah, and I think, again, another key stat right there is the points in the paint. It's favoring, or as I say now, it's tied 14-14. Before that bucket by Prosper was 14-12 in favor of Fairfield.
Yeah, and I think Scott just got lost there defensively a little bit as Hidalgo strips it from Lamro. Herder's going back. Herder didn't do anything there, but it caused Hidalgo to hesitate. She misses. DeJesus cut. That's good there, and leads back up to 12 for Notre Dame.
Right there, again, I think Coach Ivy in that huddle just said, you know what, let's take a breath. Hey, get that defense. Play that tenacious defense that you know.
Great block there by Prosper. She's finding her momentum defensively. Her second block of the game, and they're going to hold for the final shot.
Right here for both teams. This is going to be an important possession going into half. If you're Fairfield, you get a stop. That's excellent. Again, 12-point lead. That's just 4 threes that you would need in that second half. And for Notre Dame, it would be very crucial to go up 14 or more going into half.
That's going to be a 2-pointer from Hidalgo. That's going to the left side of the rim. Rebound, Co. Fairfield's going to hold it out here. Actually, Herder will chuck it, but it hits the shot clock there, and that's the end of the first half here from Value City Arena in Columbus, Ohio. Had its moments for Fairfield, you know, a little bit of a game of runs here, but, you know, Fairfield should be feeling good. They've had some momentum a little bit late in this second half as 36-24 is our score. Notre Dame Fighting Irish out in front. Mike, what does Fairfield need to do to kind of build off of this newfound life, you feel like, despite not leading at any point in this game yet?
Exactly. I think what needs to happen is they need to keep playing tenacious defense. You saw it kind of in the end before the timeout by Notre Dame. The defense started to create offensive opportunities. I think if you continue to do that in this second half, you don't let your foot off the gas, whether Notre Dame calls a timeout, whether you're in a media timeout. If you can just start to get that little bit of momentum and you can just keep that going to the rest of the game, for the rest of the game, I don't see a reason why Fairfield doesn't come back in this game.
So 36-24, Notre Dame is out in front on Fairfield. For reference, last year's game against Kansas State, Fairfield was also down 12 at halftime, but in that third quarter, Kansas State outscored Fairfield 29-6 and went on to win the second half by a margin of 48-16. Fairfield certainly hoping that is not the case again here today, as Fairfield is in quest of their first NCAA tournament victory in their 8th total appearance now in program history. However, we're going to take 15 to halftime, and then we'll be right back. Don't go anywhere on WVOF Sports coverage of Fairfield women's basketball. And we are back, ladies and gentlemen, inside Value City Arena from Columbus, Ohio. I'm Andrew Jameson, joined alongside Michael Kelleher for WVOF Sports coverage of Fairfield women's basketball March Madness 2026. Mike, it's a 12-point game here at half. What could Fairfield do to cut in this lead and potentially and hopefully take the lead?
Yeah, Andrew. They're doing exactly what they need to be doing in this game, especially on that defensive end. They are very much not really allowing anyone else to get going offensively. Yes, there are two players on the scoring sheet that have double-digit points in Hannah Hidalgo and Ayana Moore. But outside of that, it's not like someone else is getting going. And Fairfield, they've had great opportunities. There have been, I count, at least 10 to 15 points that have just been left on the floor. They've just been easy bunny attempts, easy open shots, and they're just not falling. So I think for Fairfield, it's just continue what you've been doing. Play really good, tenacious defense. Get the turnovers when you can, and just get out in transition. I think if they can do that, the shots will hopefully start to fall soon. And then all of a sudden, this game is just flipped on its head. Yeah,
we talked about a lot of missed bunnies and opportunities, but Hannah Hidalgo has 13 points, but that's on 4 of 12 shooting. Coach Carly Thibault-Dodonis mentioned she's going to get her points one way or another, but we got to make it difficult to get her to that mark. And, the game plan has worked. However, it's got to start on the offensive end here for Fairfield in the second half if they want to come back and potentially steal this one from Notre Dame.
Exactly, and I think the other thing you have to keep an eye on is the fouls. If you look for both teams have two players in foul with at least 2 fouls. For Fairfield being Lauren Beach and Janelle Brown each having 2. And for Notre Dame being Sanchez and Coles both with 2 as well. So again, for Notre Dame, a little bit of their size in a little potential foul trouble. So at that point, that's when you start to potentially rely on certain players who may not have gotten so many minutes, like a KK Bransford. She only averages about 20 minutes a game. So if she starts to get more minutes, you wonder, does the motor start to run out a little bit on Notre Dame's defense? Or does Hannah Hidalgo just find a way to impact the game in so many ways that they just can't, that motor doesn't matter?
Yeah, Bransford's already played 12 minutes here, and this one, Coles has just 8 and 2 trouble. But you mentioned that's the difference, getting to the foul line. Notre Dame has twice as many free throw attempts as Fairfield does, but a big difference is the two who have 2 fouls from Notre Dame are starters. 2 of those are bench. It's going to be a big question at bench production. We saw flashes from Janelle Brown in that first half. She has 5, which is second on the team, tied with Lamro. Anderson leads the way with 9. But what does Megan Anderson need to do in particular? She's already leading the team in scoring, but it feels like she might have to kick it into another gear to get this team back into firm contention within striking distance.
Exactly. I think she needs to just start getting the ball a little bit more. I think you need to start playing some little bit more set offenses that create opportunities for those open shots. She very much likes what I've noticed in her game. She likes 2 sets of plays. She likes kind of these fading layups, but she also kind of likes these off-screen sidestep threes. I think if the three-point shot is falling for her, I think these sidestep threes start to come into play, especially with a player like a Cyan Ko who may be screening. You now have Kassan Prosper who is playing deep into the paint because Cyan Ko doesn't really shoot the free ball that much. It becomes that little mental game of, okay, if Meg Anderson starts hitting her threes and I'm using Cyan Ko as a screener, if I'm Kassan Prosper, do I start coming up on defense and trying to eliminate that open shot? Or do I stay down and eliminate potentially a pick and roll attempt with Cyan Ko?
Well, Cyan Ko on the game, just 1 of 5 shooting, just held 2 points. She has held her own, does have 5 boards, all on the defensive end, but uncharacteristic 3 turnovers. Prosper is certainly winning that battle in the paint. She has 2 blocks, a steal, and 5 rebounds. As total, Notre Dame's winning the rebounding battle, 22-16 here. Notre Dame has 3 offensive rebounds, but it really hasn't been as efficient of a points off turnovers as we're used to seeing with this Notre Dame Fighting Irish team.
Exactly. I mean, you're looking at a lot of statistics. Turnovers, very even, 9 and 8 right now. Yes, the steals are a little bit of a bigger discrepancy right there. The turnovers, points off turnovers, Fairfield has 5, Notre Dame only has 7. Again, the rebounds, very much the bigger discrepancy right there. Bench points even, points in the paint almost barely even. Notre Dame having 16 compared to Fairfield's 14. Blocks, again, Notre Dame has 3. Kassan Prosper has 2 of those blocks. So I think very much it's going to be, can Fairfield ride the ship, have their defense hold its own, and then offense starts to fall. When does that offense start to fall? That is my biggest question going into this second half. That is my big question going into these first 3 to 5 minutes of this second half. How is Fairfield going to play offensively? Are they going to look for the two-point shots? Or are they going to start moving and trying to create those open threes?
Yeah, definitely that offense need to have to happen sooner rather than later for Fairfield in this second half, because, you know, the only matter of time before Hannah Hidalgo starts finding her groove offensively. You know, you can't really stop her. You can only hope to contain her. She's one of those types of players, just so prolific. But Iona Moore also has a sneaky 10. We talked about Prosper and her efficiency and improvement, but Moore has been great here with 10 points, 3 of 5 shooting, 3 of 4 from beyond the arc. DeJesus will start the second half here on the side. Finds Prosper, co-guarding her. Prosper going to cut. Tough finish there, but Co gets the rebound. Scott sprinting down to the court, but Herder has it. Finds Anderson, her 3. Good shot there, just couldn't get to fall. Rebound Lamro, but she lost it in the hands of Moore. Hidalgo slows things down, finds Moore. That looked like it would fall, but didn't. They're going to get a foul on the floor here, I believe. No, it's going the way of Fairfield, so Notre Dame coaches are not happy there whatsoever, but it will be Fairfield ball.
Looks like the refs were calling a hook play on Kyle's right there. Yeah, she kind of wraps her arm right around Cyan, eliminating the opportunity for Cyan to go for the rebound.
That's going to be Coles' 3rd foul. So that's something to watch as this game progresses here. Or no, that was on Prosper, excuse me. So that'll be just her first on the game, but they're going to get a travel on Herder there. Herder a little bit slow to get up. Defensive stance thus far here in this third quarter.
Seems like just on that one, I think she maybe thought she got whacked. Herder thought she got whacked in the face, and that's why she kind of fell down. But refs didn't seem to say that.
DeJesus finds Hidalgo. Hidalgo, Co working on her. Expect her to dribble a lot here. Nice short pass there, but finds Moore, who finds Coles. Lob pass there into Prosper. They're going to get Lamro on the hold there on the floor.
Again, Lamro doing her best right there, just trying to front Prosper right there, but just a little bit extra too aggressive right there and got the foul.
Yeah, and Lamro's communicating to the ref that she's holding me. She's holding me, but Lamro going to get the knock there. Coles. Lob pass there, dangerous, but it comes up in the hands of Moore. Her finish is good. That's a bucket and the foul.
And right there, it just seemed like, again, I believe the foul was going to be on Herder. Yeah, she just can't really, got to stay straight up right there. Her arms were a little bit forward right there when she was going up for the contest. She just cannot allow just those easy opportunities to happen.
Yeah, and the three-point play by Moore is no good there. Anderson with the board. Herder's going to cut. Prosper on her, right in front of us. Both teams visibly frustrated here, but Notre Dame will have possession right in front of us. Fairfield playing a little bit of catch-up here in this second half here early, but 2 turnovers already in this second half. DeJesus now has it. Nellie Brown on her. She finds Coles. Anderson on Coles. Coles finds Moore on the perimeter. She's got 12. Good short pass inside to Coles. Her finish. Can't get the roll. Co had it, but Hidalgo comes away with it. Lamro with the hands up. That's just nothing you can do about that one defensively if you're Lamro.
Yeah, right there. That's just Hannah Hidalgo right there. One of the best players in the country just making shots. It's just almost impossible to stop that.
So Anderson finds Co now. 16-point game, the largest lead of the game for the Fighting Irish. Lamro finds Co inside. Co working on Coles. She just lost that one there. That's her 4th turnover of the game, and Notre Dame building some momentum here, primarily on the defensive end here in this second half.
And a sub's going to come in for Fairfield. It's going to be Lauren Beach subbing in for Cyan Co. I think just kind of let Cyan get a breath right there. Again, seeming like just a little bit her internal clock was sped up just on that last play.
A little bit jittery certainly right now for Fairfield out of this second half here as DeJesus is working on Nellie Brown. Nellie Brown trying to kick in to get a stop by any means, but it gets to Moore. Moore cuts on Herder. She gets thing and finishes, and that's a tough finish there, and that's 2-on-1s for Notre Dame here, and for Moore in particular. She's trying to cap it off with a 3-point play this time, though, making the free throw.
Yeah, right there. I think that's going to be another foul on Jillian Herder. That will be her second. It's again, just Jillian Herder fell behind on the play, tried to catch up, and just Moore just stopped on a dime and made the shot.
Nonetheless, Moore will be going to the line. One shy of Hidalgo's team high 15, looking to tie it here. Just 1 of 3 on the line today, though, thus far. Moore's free throw is good, and that lead is up to 19.
And if you're Fairfield right now, you got to just start to lock in, just hold your own on defense right now.
Yeah, but a punch there by DeJesus. Fairfield will retain possession right in front of us once again. Lamro, Hidalgo guarding her. Very scrappy here right now. They're going to get a foul on Hidalgo on the floor. A little bit of talking back and forth. Got to calm down here, though. If you're Fairfield, the last thing you need to do is let emotions get the better. Exactly. See one of the side refs here saying, watch it, between those two. But Hidalgo and Lamro both up for the challenge. Here is Nelly on the perimeter, her 3. Hits the back rim, gets her own offensive board. Her finish, good. That's a good way to follow your shot.
And Janelle Brown right now just trying to potentially be that catalyst for Fairfield just to get something going for them and get some momentum back for them.
And Hidalgo is going to take it here. She's got 15. Her shot in the paint, no good. Can't get the bunny to fall. Rebound, Janelle Brown.
Hidalgo pleading her case, trying to say that she was fouled there, and she just gets the pickpocket on Janelle Brown with an easy layup.
Yeah, and you're seeing that swagger from Hidalgo there. Nelly took a little bit of the shot there, but that's Hidalgo's DNA.
Fairfield will call another timeout right now. Again, Hidalgo making her presence known in this game. At one end, maybe not getting the foul call that she wanted. On the other end, just says, okay, I'm putting it behind me. Let me go get this steal and get an easy 2.
Yeah, and in this third quarter thus far, Notre Dame is outscoring Fairfield 9-2. The lead has been stretched to 19, the largest lead of the game. And as a matter of fact, Notre Dame has been leading this one wire to wire. Fairfield is yet to take a lead, but turnovers starting to pile up for the Stags, who are now at 13 on the game and 4 in this half alone.
Yeah, again, they are not really. The issue with them is if they get, once those turnover numbers starts to get high, I feel like Fairfield starts to speed up a little bit, trying to make up for the turnovers that they have, and that just starts to create a little bit of a snowball effect where turnovers creates faster pace, which creates more turnovers, which creates even faster pace, trying to get back in this game. I think if I'm Coach Carly, I have to say, hey, stop for a second. I know that the scoreboard isn't what we want it to be. Let's just take a moment. Let's figure out what we need to do, and let's just play better defense from going forward.
The points off turnovers have certainly ramped up for Notre Dame. 16-5 now. Notre Dame leads that category, and they're winning the defensive battle, but they're also winning the rebounding battle, out-rebounding the Fairfield 24-20. There have been several dead ball rebounds that Notre Dame has just corralled, and they've taken advantage of those here. It's simply Notre Dame's finding their stride here as they look to move on to the round of 32 to face the Ohio State Buckeyes. That'll take place on Monday, regardless of whether Fairfield or Notre Dame wins here. As you can see, Hannah Hidalgo led the regular season in steals with 173. Second place was 39 steals behind. She averages 5.4 steals a game for that record. So certainly one of the best defenders, arguably the best defender in all of college basketball, the junior guard.
Yeah, she currently on today, she has 6 of the 7 Notre Dame steals. So she is, again, whether it's on the scoring, whether it's on the glass, or whether it's just the stealing category, she is making her presence known. And the reason why, again, sites such as ESPN are calling her one of the top players in this tournament this year.
So 45-26 is our score. We're in the Fairfield timeout. Still waiting for that under 5 media timeout here, though. We want to thank you all for listening to WVOF Sports coverage of Fairfield women's basketball. It certainly has been a great year of WVOF Sports covering both men's and women's basketball. Certainly has been one we will not forget. Fairfield women's side going back-to-back-to-back MAC champions. The men's side really exciting. Also, we just got the news that Tony Williams will be returning to the Stags to a 2026-27 calendar year. They had a nice run going into the semifinals, trying to build off that momentum here, but business right here is 45-26 Notre Dame, 6:18 to go in the third quarter, and Fairfield hasn't shot as many threes, but Notre Dame's winning that volume battle right now in the second half, but it's down to 2 of 13 now, just 15%.
Yeah, again, Fairfield, it's just seemingly like since the back end of the regular season, it's felt like it's been a while since you've seen them hit that many shots. And going back to almost midway through February, the last time they hit more than 10 threes in a game. So I think the key is going to be, let's see what they can do offensively to find some open shots.
Beach finds Anderson here on the 5 for Fairfield. Lamoureux, Anderson, Brown, Herder, Beach. And Fairfield loses that one there. It looked like a miscommunication between Anderson and Brown there. Yeah, another turnover for Fairfield. Now that totals up to 14, eclipsing their season average of 13.1. Hidalgo's going to take it up here. Herder tightly on Moore, but Moore is able to corral it. Moore finds Anderson. Good block there by Meg, but Notre Dame will retain possession.
Once again, Meg Anderson usually tries to make her presence known. If her scoring isn't doing well, she does it in other ways. Again, as I said before, averaging a block per game, already up to another block on this day.
Prosper finds Hidalgo on the corner. Quick touch pass there to Coles, and that's beautiful teamwork there.
And just beautiful post play by Coles right there, just using her size to her advantage. As another steal by Hidalgo on Brown.
That's 7 on the game. Just can't get it to fall on the end. DeJesus finds Hidalgo. Notre Dame looking to slow things down here, though. Wisely does Hidalgo. Coles, Beach had a little bit of a tip there, but they're going to get called there.
Coles seemed like her foot was just on the line, and it's going to be a turnover in favor, and Fairfield getting possession.
And Cindy Scott's going to check into the game for Lauren Beach here, and indeed it was an out-of-bounds call on Notre Dame. Coles, her second turnover of the game, but Fairfield as a team, 3 turnovers in the last minute and 20 seconds.
That's not a great recipe for potentially trying to come back in this game. You have to just find a way to get something going offensively. Try to find a way to just find a hole in this defense of Notre Dame.
Anderson finds Herder in the corner. Herder gets a jump step on Hidalgo. Wanted to block on Prosper, not going to get one. Anderson cuts, her finish, in and out. Rebound there, Nellie Brown tip. Herder's able to save it. Rebound there, Lamoureux has the ball. Up top, finds Brown, swings it to Cindy Scott. Still looking for her first points of the game. They're going to get a foul on the floor here. That one's going to go on Prosper.
Right there, Janelle Brown again. Just Janelle Brown right now being the player for Fairfield that's seemingly everywhere right now for them, trying to wheel them back into this game. Just a nice cut downhill on Prosper and getting the foul call.
Coach Ivey telling her team, just think smart, play smart. Don't make unnecessary fouls. And, we're going into the media timeout here. Fairfield down 21 here, their largest deficit of the game on the third quarter as a whole. Notre Dame is winning that 11-2. So, once again, the defense is holding its own. Hidalgo's just 6 of 16, but Moore is 15 and is 5 of 9, but their offense has been struggling this second half.
Yeah, only 2 points in this third quarter to start compared to Notre Dame's 11. It's seemingly like they are just trying to find something, but at every point when they try to find something, Notre Dame matches it and just takes over and just takes the ball down the court on the other end.
Yeah, on the quarter more specifically, Fairfield shooting just 25%, just 4 shots. Conversely, Notre Dame 5 of 11, 11 shots. That volume discrepancy is going to build itself, and that discrepancy is only going to get more wider as the game progresses, and it's certainly been the case in this third quarter. Here is Fairfield. That's 3 turnovers in the last 1 minute and 53 seconds.
Again, for Fairfield, it's not been like it's been a bad game defensively. It's just the offense has been just quiet all day. And if you're looking at maybe like how can Fairfield maybe just generate some easy opportunities, whether that's just foul calls or something like that, Notre Dame has just been so disciplined on defense. They are just such a team that has so many players that can switch 1 through 5, whether it's a Prosper, whether it's a Hidalgo, whether it's a KK Bransford, as Coach Ivey mentioned in her press conference yesterday. It's just a very versatile defense that just that's very hard to kind of just play against at times.
Yeah, Notre Dame averages 13.4 steals per game. They're up to 8 as a team, and Hannah Hidalgo, the nation's leader in steals per game, she has been at the forefront of that defensive attack once again with 7 steals on the game. Her season high is 16 in a game back in November against Akron in a blowout victory there. Not saying she's going to get to that mark, but certainly she's not going to stop anytime soon until this final horn sounds.
Yeah, she is such a high motor to the point where she is just not going to stop until that clock hits 0 and until she sees Notre Dame with the W.
Going to be Nellie Brown, Anderson, Lamro, Scott, and Herder in for Fairfield. And for Notre Dame, it'll be Sanchez, DeJesus, Prosper, Hidalgo, and Moore. Hidalgo leads all Notre Dame scorers with 17, and Anderson leads the Stags with 9. Chanel Brown going to inbound under the hoop here. Nearing that 5, but Herder's able to get it. Herder finds Lamro on the perimeter. Lamro working on Prosper. Lamro, nothing easy right now. Good defense there by Prosper, and she gets the rebound.
And Prosper's defense just going so well today, and it's been just a big point of emphasis.
And it looked like the foot was, oh no, they're going to get a backcourt violation there. Coach Ivy is not happy there. It definitely hit Sydney Scott's foot. The question is whether or not was there a second deflection after that.
Yeah, Sydney Scott really jumping the pass, it seems like, and seems like they're going to change the call, it looks like, and give it back to Notre Dame. But again, Sydney Scott trying to make an impact defensively. She only has 1 shot on the game, seeing what she can do in other ways to help Fairfield try to come back into this game.
KK Bransford going to check into the game here, but it's an interesting call there because the referee who was closest signaled no backcourt, but the referee on our side signaled backcourt. So that's an interesting dynamic there as the refs are still trying to sort some things out here. I believe the clock is right. I'm not sure if they're going to go for a review here. However, it is a lengthy stoppage.
And it looks like the refs are just discussing just the clock, adding 1 second back to the clock and making sure that the shot clock was also at its right time as well.
So Branchfield inbound the ball here for DeJesus.
Again, 2 refs meet at center court again just to confirm some things before the inbound pass happens.
More like one ref telling the other what to do. But nonetheless, we've got basketball back here with 4:32 to go in the second half. In the third quarter, excuse me. DeJesus. They're going to get a foul on Lamro on the floor here, and things are getting a little bit chippy here. You know, tensions are high, emotions are high, but, you know, just got to keep your composure here if you're Notre Dame, and if you're Fairfield especially, you want to play the game the right way, but you're Notre Dame. You don't want to do anything that could cost you down the road in this tournament if you're looking to make a Sweet 16 run. A hump they have not gotten over in 4 straight NCAA tournament appearances.
And again, looking again for this first program, making the tournament 7 times in program history, yet to win 1. Again, also this being their best seeding in a round of 6 in a team of 68 NCAA tournament. The only other time where they were potentially ranked higher was back in 1987 when it was originally a 40-team bracket, and Fairfield was ranked as the 10 seed.
So KK Bransford is going to inbound to Hidalgo here as Lauren Beach will be on her. Sydney Scott with the help defense. Bransford finds Coles. However, good help defense there forces a turnover. Notre Dame is arguing for a tip ball.
Again, it was very open cowls underneath, and it just did not seem like maybe Bransford's call was correct in terms of it being a tip ball, and it looks like we're going to get a timeout and potentially a review potentially. But it just seemed a little unorthodox that ball went sailing that high, as we are kind of right now just waiting to maybe see a replay of what is happening.
Should the turnover stand, it would be Notre Dame's 10th. Fairfield on the game. 15 turnovers, points off turnovers. Notre Dame is winning that battle 18-5 here as we're waiting for discretion from the referee. Okay, so they're going to be looking at the play that it is Fairfield basketball. Fairfield, no points in the last 2 minutes and 31 seconds. However, they also have 3 turnovers in that span. And, you know, on the third quarter. We have not scored basket since that timeout Coach Carly Tebow Dodonis took just before the U5 media timeout.
Again, the review being for the pass by Bransford looking for Coles. Again, Bransford and Notre Dame arguing that it was a tip pass that sailed out of bounds into the Notre Dame cheer team. Fairfield hoping that call is not reversed.
And Lauren Beach will be going to the scorekeeper's table to check in at the next live ball here. Leading scorers for today's game, Hannah Hidalgo for Notre Dame Fighting Irish has 17. Ayana Moore right behind her with 15. Those are the lone Notre Dame Fighting Irish in double figures. Fairfield not a player yet in double figures. Megan Aronson leads the way with 9. 0 of 2 from the court this period, 0 of 1 from 3. Janelle Brown has 7 on 3 of 6 shooting, 1 of 3 from beyond the arc. However, all the turnovers are ramping up. Cyan Coe is 4, Jillian Herder is 3. Janelle Brown also has 3, and Megan Anderson and Katie Lamro have 2 apiece.
And again, as we kind of said, coming out of halftime and coming into the second half, you just can't let those turnovers start to snowball. It's going to create a snowball effect where individuals are going to try to do something a little bit differently than they normally do, and it's just going to create a little bit of dysfunction on offense.
Looks like the referees have made a decision. A little bit of a lengthy pause here. Six assists also for Hannah Hidalgo. I don't know if that's getting mentioned enough. Katie Lammer had a triple-double in that game in January against Niagara, and what was at the time the largest D1 victory for Fairfield Stags in the history before they beat Marist at home back in February. However, feels like Hannah Hidalgo could be a walking triple any given night with just how versatile and well-rounded she is as a player.
Exactly. I mean, she, as we have said multiple times on this broadcast, she makes her emphasis in many different ways. Again, looking at her stats, she averages 25 points again, just over 6 rebounds, 5 assists, 5 steals, and is a very efficient scorer.
So the best ball play will be upheld, and it will be Fairfield basketball here under the hoop. But this one Notre Dame just has to let pass and not make too much out of, regardless of whether it was the right call or not here. So looks like Lauren Beach has not checked into the game, so it'll still be Anderson, Lambro, Brown, Herder, and Sydney Scott on for the Stags. And for Notre Dame, it'll be Hidalgo, Moore, Coles, Sanchez, and Bransford. Jill Herder's 3, that's good, and that's a much-needed bucket, and what felt like an eternity since Fairfield made their last three-pointer.
Exactly, and for Jill Herder, that's a monkey off her back. Again, that's her first make. Very much, again, tournament MVP for the MAC, averaging about 13 points and shooting about 50% from 3 in that tournament. So that would be maybe a big step for her to get some scoring again.
Anderson, tight defense here on Coles. Sydney Scott almost got that one for Sanchez, but they're going to get a foul there on the shot there. However, Fairfield, much needed lip off that shoulder, as you mentioned. But Prosper will check right back into the game for Sanchez. That foul's going to be on the floor, and that will be on Janelle Brown. So that'll be her third.
And something to keep an eye on. It seems like Coach Carly is going to let her play. And I think they know that Janelle is a player that can keep an eye on her foul troubles and all of that. But I think looks like it has to actually be maybe a shooting foul, and Sanchez is going to go to the line, and Prosper will have to look to wait to come in until the shots are done.
Yeah, Notre Dame looking to break a 2-minute and 6-second scoring streak here. Prosper will check in for Sanchez after she takes her 2 free throws. First one there for Sanchez, the Kansas State transfer. Average 20 minutes a game, 6 points, 4 rebounds, and an assist. 70% free throw shooter on the year, nails both, and she'll sub out here for Kassan Prosper, the ACC 25-26 Most Improved Player of the Year award recipient. Lead back up to 20. Lamro taking it up the court. We've got 3:38 to go. Another turnover there. Hidalgo in the mix once again.
just seemed to just take it right out of Lamro's hand as Lamro was going up for a layup attempt.
And Anderson, good defense there, but Notre Dame will retain possession there. Seeing the size matchup starting to make it visible a little bit more. Notre Dame now winning the rebounding battle by 7. 7 offensive rebounds is also that number that Notre Dame has. Fairfield, though, turnovers once again. 4 turnovers in the last 3 minutes and 23 seconds.
And this is going to be some big minutes right here as Cyanco and Lauren Beach check in for Jillian Herter and Meg Anderson. So Meg Anderson being on the bench, it's going to be very interesting to see how long before she comes back in.
That's going to be a 2-pointer from Hidalgo. That'll be in and out, but an offensive rebound there by Coles to clean up that mess. They're going to foul on the floor there. Help defense there from Hidalgo. Just a little bit too much there, but Coles was smothering there nonetheless.
That foul will be on Hannah Hidalgo, and another player for Notre Dame to keep an eye on with her 3rd foul of the game.
Yeah, Coach Ivey's probably just going to let her play this one out, though. You know, she's that prolific a player that Notre Dame can't afford to have on the bench, really. They're going to get Bransford on a foul here on Anderson, so that'll be her 2nd.
Anderson a little grimacing a little bit on the way up. Seems like she took a little bit of a fall when she was coming down on that layup attempt.
Yeah, so Anderson will be going to the line for 2. She's at 9 points, 4 of 10 from the court, 1 of 2 from the line. That free throw there is good. Now she's in double digits.
Again, Anderson, a 90% free throw shooter on the year. One of a few players on this team that is 90+ from the free throw line.
Her 2nd one there is good, and it's back to a 20-point deficit for the Stags.
A little bit of a defensive switch right now, having Anderson guard Hidalgo, and it looks like they're going to switch their defense up to a zone defense.
That's a tough bucket there from Prosper. She's up to 8 there despite the smothering defense. Lamro taking it up here. She's got 5. Anderson on the perimeter, swings it to Janelle Brown in what could be her final game of her career. All seasons with Fairfield, the 6th-year Stag. Hidalgo on the perimeter now, taking her time. The clock is Notre Dame's friend right now. Good defense, but Prosper, that's the finish there, but I don't think Anderson touched her on that one there. But nonetheless, the refs are going to get Anderson for the whistle there.
And a sub for Notre Dame as De Jesus will return in and sub out for Bransford.
So it will be Prosper going to the line for 2. And Prosper's on the year, 74.8% free throw shooter. Her first, no good. Prosper on the year, averaging 13.8 points per game, 7 rebounds, and just shy of 2 assists. Prosper's 2nd is good. Lead up to 23.
And Fairfield will sub in. It looks like Jillian Herter is going to come in for Sydney Scott, seemingly right now what seems to be the best offensive team on for Fairfield to give them the best chance to come back in this game.
So Janelle Brown's going to be taking it up the court here for Fairfield. Working on Prosper. A little bit of loose ball there, but Fairfield hangs on. Lamro going to cut to the hoop. Her shot has the lucky bounce and falls.
Again, that's only Katie's, I believe, 2nd or 3rd make of the day. So again, trying to find a way to get her going right now, averaging 17 points a game. And it looks like an offensive foul on Prosper right there, driving into Cyanco. Cyanco getting the charge. So again, maybe starting to see a little shift, as that'll be, it seems like the 16th foul on Notre Dame in this quarter.
And Fairfield certainly hasn't been afraid to put their body on the line, especially in this later stage of the season where it just means more in this, one-and-done type games they've played in the MAC championship and now here in March Madness. Herter's going to lay it off to Janelle Brown. Janelle Brown working on more. Between the legs, goes to her right, and Nellie Brown hangs on. She's going to get a foul call on Moore, and Nellie's going to go to the line for 2.
And that will be on a more 2nd personal foul. And for Janelle Brown, not her best season when it comes to free throw percentage, obviously coming back from the ACL tear this year. She is averaging about 64.7% from the line.
Yeah, and there was one game in particular for Janelle Brown. I think she went 1 of 8 from the free throw line, I remember. But on the air, 65% free throw shooter. First one there is good. Certainly one of the best to ever wear a Stags uniform. Could be the final game of her career, but the first one, good there. Second one, no good there, but Anderson gets the offensive board. Her finish, too strong there. Rebound Prosper. And both teams flying down the court, but Hidalgo has it. Anderson swiping, but couldn't get anything. Gets a foul there on Anderson. Hidalgo's going to go to the line for 2.
And that should be Meg Anderson's second or third. That will be her third personal foul. So again, one of 2 Stags with 3 fouls along with Janelle Brown. So another thing to keep an eye on going out for the rest of this game.
Hidalgo going to take her time from the line. Sydney Scott, in the meantime, going to check into the scorekeeper's table. Her first free throw good now, perfect. 5 of 5 on the game. Takes her time, as she has all game. Second free throw good there. She's up to 19. Lead back up to 22 for the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Co will sub out here for Sydney Scott.
It will be it looks like a 4-guard lineup with one Roadrunner on the team for Fairfield.
Megan Anderson's 3. That's good there, and that's her first 3 of the game, now 1 of 5.
And that'll be the 4th made 3 for Fairfield, so maybe a little bit of life starting to come out for Fairfield on that 3-point shot.
Yeah, still 25% on the game, though. There, got a foul on Anderson there. That's going to be her 4th, and she knows that's one she's going to want back there. So Sanchez will check in for Hidalgo here now. Prosper's up into double digits herself with 11. That's now the 3rd Notre Dame Fighting Irish player to accomplish that feat. Prosper trying to make it a 3-point play here.
And Meg Anderson being subbed out for Allie Campbell because of the foul trouble and her having 4 fouls.
Prosper's free throw rolls around and finds the bottom of the net. Another round cuts, finds Campbell on the corner. Scott's 3. Good. Fairfield's had some life from 3-point range, but Notre Dame also 3 of their last 3 from the court.
What's going to be crucial in this last minute is just, again, try to cut it. If you can cut it to around 15, that would be great going into the 4th quarter.
Yeah, and it looks like Notre Dame's going to slow this one down, though, try and get a difficult shot at the very best.
And the benefit for Fairfield, they do seems like have a 2-for-1 potential attempt.
Prosper's 3. Good. That takes the momentum right back in Notre Dame's corner.
Prosper, just under a 31% 3-point shooter on the year.
Yeah, so Herder's going to slow down here and most likely hold it for the last shot. Cole's going to be guarding Herder. Herder, her 3. Looking like shooting practice a little bit right now. That's 3 straight 3s. And DeJesus 3-pointer hits rim. Just goes, but it won't count anyway. That shot was after the buzzer. But Fairfield found some life offensively, but there was in the last stages of that 3rd quarter here as Notre Dame leads 62-43 after outscoring Fairfield 26-19 in that 3rd quarter. Mike, Fairfield's coming to life, but still a tall mountain they need to climb to get the win in this one.
Exactly. Again, both Fairfield and Notre Dame hitting a lot of their last few shots. I think what's going to be crucial coming out of this 4th quarter is how long does Meg Anderson sit? Because it is difficult for me to say that Meg Anderson can sit for almost the entirety of this 4th quarter if Fairfield wants to pull back into this game and win. Another thing I think is going to be interesting is when will Katie Lamoureux wake up in this 4th quarter? It seems like she is very much a player that likes to come alive a little bit more in the 4th quarter. We'll see what that is. But again, for Notre Dame, it's business as usual. They have that has been kind of the mode they've had this entire game, and it's just been a business game. Come in, play your style of game. Do not let Fairfield control the pace in any regard. But they've had moments where they've just given up. They've kind of given into Fairfield's pace a little bit, given up some easy shots, some open shots, some 3-point shots that they maybe want back. So I think what's going to be interesting out of the timeout is going to be how is Notre Dame going to defend the rest of this game? How is Hannah Hidalgo going to be impacting? If players are starting to hit their threes, all of a sudden she can't really just be guarding one person and kind of like floating around everywhere else. So if Fairfield starts to hit their threes, it kind of starts to, I think, potentially tighten up Notre Dame's defense to force them to have to play one-on-one defense.
Yeah, I know you mentioned both teams ended the quarter. Obviously the best offensive stretch for both teams to round that out. But, you know, with Fairfield, it's got to be something like a 26-7 quarter like they're used to. You know, we talked about this team starts so hot, so many games. It's going to need to be one of these games because, you know, Notre Dame's, the clock is their friend right now, as you mentioned. And I think in this type of game, you need your best players out there to cut this lead. And, you know, Megan Anderson is that player. 3 years, 3-time first-team All-MAC honoree. Last year was unanimous All-MAC honoree along with her teammate, Katie Lamro, who was MAC Player of the Year. So don't be surprised if Carly rides with her hot hand. And, you know, Anderson's also been the leading scorer for Fairfield. She's got 14, and she's been their best shooter, 5 of 12. And Fairfield in the game is shooting 37%. Notre Dame, on the other hand, shooting 47%. Three-point range, Notre Dame shooting 45%, 5 of 11. 33% for the Stags, 6 of 18. So, win the volume battle, but not the efficiency battle right now for Fairfield.
And again, it's to me, I think it's going to come down to determination for Fairfield. They have got to want to be in it to win this game. They have got to want to come back in this game. It looks like coming out of this timeout, Meg Anderson will start the fourth quarter. So that is very much a confidence by Coach Carly Thibodeau-Donis to let Meg play with those 4 fouls.
But on the other hand, I know Coach Ivey is saying, let's get her out of the game. Let's drive to the hoop. Let's draw fouls. Let's get her out of the game because that's one less scoring threat we have to deal with. And the leading scorer of Fairfield so far. As Notre Dame pep band finishes up here, 62-43 is our score for scoreboard watching. Virginia and Georgia on the women's side has gone into overtime. That's in the Regional 4. I believe that is the Iowa Regional there. Virginia currently leads 79-73, but 10 minutes left to go in this one here as Notre Dame leads by 19. Coach Meg, then last minute words from assistant head coach Blake Dodonis. This coaching staff of Carly, Blake, Coach Erica Brown, and Coach EJ have been together all 4 years together. Has certainly been successful with 3 back-to-back MAC championships, as well as the last 3 years all receiving AP votes, and 2 of those 3 in the top 25. Janelle Brown going to cut here. You're going to see some urgent offense from Fairfield. Quick tempo. Megan Anderson on the perimeter here. She finds Sydney Scott. Quick pass to Herder. More tightly on her. Finds Anderson in the low post. Anderson working on Coles. Anderson was drawing the foul there. She is in some pain, but they're going to get a foul on Janelle Brown there. That is going to be Janelle Brown's 4th. Team's first of the quarter, and you're going to see Allie Campbell coming to the bench for Janelle Brown. So, Nelly has 4. Campbell comes in. She's going to take a breather. Anderson has 4. She's also going to come out. Lauren Beach is going to sub in.
Well, this is going to be a big stretch, I think, especially for the players on the floor right now, especially Katie Lamer and Jillian Herder. They are going to have to start getting the scoring load going for themselves to get Fairfield back into this game.
Hidalgo on the perimeter. Scott guarding her. Hidalgo puts it up, gets the nice floater to go. She's up to 21. Beach on the perimeter, left alone by Coles, who backs into the paint. Scott now. Prosper on her. Scott cross court pass to Beach. She cuts on Coles. Coles just takes it away from her. It seemed pretty easy there. Prosper going to take it up court here. We talked about her ability to play 1 through 5 yesterday in that press conference, both on the offensive and defensive end. Campbell with a nice takeaway there, but Coles is able to hang on. But Lamro's there to get the receiving end of that one. Beach is going to cut here. A little bit of miscommunication there by Beach and Lamro. Campbell finds Scott. Scott finds Herder. Herder back to Beach. A little bit of hot potato right now, but Fairfield's got to do something sooner rather than later if they want to get back into this game. Notre Dame not making anything easy, though. Lamro bounced pass, but it's going to be a kick ball there. A lot of time went off on that clock, Mike.
Yeah, again, it's just Notre Dame's defense is just getting to such a point where it's taking time off the clock. It's just getting Fairfield's offense all in shambles, and they're just not finding a way to get something going on Fairfield's offense.
Yeah, Fairfield going for firepower here as Janelle Brown and Megan Anderson check back into the game. Anderson going to cut here on Sanchez. Her shot, good. She's up to 16. Hidalgo going to work on Nellie Brown here. 19-point lead here, just north of 8 minutes to go in this one. DeJesus cuts on Lamro. Her finish, good. That's the size DeJesus took advantage of there.
Just a strong power move right there, and trying to just getting an easy layup right there on Lamro.
Yeah, and Herder finds Nellie in the post. Her finish, good. Nice pass there by Herder to find Nellie, who got just enough separation to get that shot off.
And Hannah Hidalgo just trying to get that steal again, jumped the gun a little bit, and Janelle got that easy shot.
DeJesus now, Lamro on her. Opts to go to Hidalgo, who cuts into the paint, and that has created so much separation on that one. It was wide open at the layup.
And that was just splitting the defense so effectively right there, and just no one there to help out on defense.
Anderson shot, good. She's heating up, 7 of 14 now. She's up to 18.
Both Hidalgo and Anderson starting to heat up, but for Fairfield, their defense has just got to start to wake up a little bit more. They cannot start going 1-for-1 on shots.
Yeah, and 1-for-1 they are, but that's a good block there by Anderson, and Sanchez touched it last. Anderson, great offense on one end, good defensive stand there.
And for Anderson, she's starting to wake up, maybe trying to inspire the rest of her team. Hey, let's go. We've got 7 minutes left. Let's put the best 7 minutes of basketball we have left.
Yeah, doing this all with 4 fouls. Remind you, her and Nellie Brown both in that category, 4 fouls. Hidalgo has 3 from Notre Dame. Otherwise, that not really in foul trouble. Anyone else? Anderson at the top of the key. Opts to go to Herder. Herder finds Janelle Brown. DeJesus on her. Janelle Brown cuts. Good help defense by Bransford. Gets back to cover Herder. Herder finds Lamro. Anderson wants the ball. She can't corral it, and it will be Notre Dame possession at the bottom of the hoop. 19 turnovers now for the Stags.
And double sub. Allie Campbell and Lauren Beach coming back in for Janelle Brown and Meg Anderson. So it's just seeming like every dead ball position they can get, they're going to try to do a switch on for defense and offensive purposes, trying to limit any opportunities for Notre Dame to foul out Anderson and or Beach or Brown.
So DeJesus will take it up here. 6:30 to go in the game. Bransford lob pass there to Prosper. They're going to get a foul on the floor on Beach. That'll be her 3rd personal. Quarter's been even thus far, 6-6. However, we're looking at the second and third quarters where Notre Dame outscored Fairfield 45-31. That is a big difference in this game right now. Hidalgo cuts on Campbell. Hidalgo creates separation. Long shot there. Good offensive board by Bransford. Can't finish. Beach comes away with the board. It'll be a jump ball in favor of Notre Dame. So Notre Dame will keep possession down there.
Again, on that play for Bransford trying to attempt a layup, it looked like Katie Lamro just jumps and just alters the shot just a little bit, whether she got the piece of the ball or just Bransford just changed the trajectory of her shot.
So Prosper's going to have it on the elbow. Nice lob pass to Bransford. Good block from behind there by Herder. However, Notre Dame will retain possession once again. Fairfield's a couple blocks in their last few possessions, one with Anderson, that one most recently there by Herder. So that's 2 blocks on the game for Fairfield. Notre Dame still leading that with 4. As Prosper will take it here. Cuts on Beach. Nice spin move there. Gets it to go off the pretty touch.
That's just an easy move for Prosper right there. Just a great scorer and just showing why she is the ACC's most improved player of the year.
And second team All-ACC honoree, as we mentioned at the top of the broadcast here. Lauren Beach going to find Campbell here on the top. Nice bounce pass to Lamro. Opts to go back out to Cindy Scott. Her 3. Rolls around, can't find the bottom of the net. Rebound there by Moore. Feels like Hidalgo misses that bunny there. Rebound Fairfield. Fairfield losing the rebounding battle 35-25, however. Herder finds Lamro. Lamro fastball bounce pass, but Herder can't finish that one.
Just seemed like the sidestep just wasn't there or just altered a little bit.
Yeah, and it looks like Fairfield's defense is crumbling a little bit here down the stretch. Another easy basket for Notre Dame.
And again, Fairfield has been going to that 7-woman rotation for a while, and it just seems like right now maybe just the motor is starting to slow down a little bit for Fairfield, and meanwhile for Notre Dame, their motor just seems to be speeding up every minute and every second this game passes.
And Notre Dame at the top of the broadcast, we talked about they were playing their best basketball heading into March Madness. Yes, they lost that ACC semifinal to Duke. That was only by 2 points, 65-63. Duke went on to win an ACC championship. But, they won 9 of their last 11 games coming into this game. And also after a 3-6 January, they have just been rolling, and they've turned defense into offense, and they've been absolutely prolific on both ends. And you can kind of see why a little bit. Maybe you could see that they could have been in contention for a 4 or 5 seed and hosted regional, which would have extended their streak of hosting regionals and trying to get over that Sweet 16 hump. However,
exactly right there. I mean, they are poised to make a deep run, and if you're looking again in this specific bracket, the teams you may have to facing teams such as like a North Carolina, such as a UConn, the #1 team in the country, it's going to be a difficult battle to get to the Sweet 16, but Notre Dame has been here before, and they are showing why they should be feared.
Yeah, no, absolutely. The ACC is such a good conference, especially that top portion, with the likes of Duke and Notre Dame, and I believe Virginia. They're holding their own against Georgia here, up 9, and will likely take the upset against the Bulldogs, 82-73. I believe yesterday we didn't have an entire lower seed win on the women's side of March Madness. However, Virginia looking to be the first to accomplish that feat in the category. Doing some scoreboard watch on the rest of the women's side for March Madness. Kentucky has taken care of business against James Madison. They are up 56-34 with the third quarter just about winding down. Alabama's up on Rhode Island by 60 in the third. UConn doing the UConn things, up on UTSA by 31, not even halftime yet. And Clemson, USC are the other lone game going on besides this one. Clemson leads that one 14-13 as the second quarter is just getting underway here. But this is certainly one of the more exciting regionals here. Ohio State and Notre Dame, 2 teams who could easily have been regional host sites. Going to meet in the round of 32, which, is going to be a treat for fans to watch if that is the result here.
And just being here beforehand to watch the Howard and Ohio State game, Ohio State fans came out and they showed. Anytime, whether it was a call that went their way or not, they were making their voices heard. And that is, I think, the benefit of getting these home playoff games right now, is just getting that crowd behind you. And even Coach Ivey talking about yesterday, while they were not be able to be home, they knew that they could take care of business, and they know that having that home crowd behind them just helps ever so more.
Absolutely here. 72-49 is our score. 5:02 left in the game here. The 6th-seeded Notre Dame Fighting Irish against the number 11-seeded Fairfield Stags. Notre Dame went 22-10 the regular season, 12-6 in ACC play during the regular season. Fairfield 28-4 overall, 19-1 the regular season. Defeated Sacred Heart in the quarterfinal, Merrimack in the semifinal, and Quinnipiac in the MAC championship. MAC has had 3 teams in postseason play this year. Quinnipiac women's basketball just defeating George Mason in the first round of the WBIT, and Merrimack falling to NJIT in the first round of the WNIT. But Herder's going to take it here. Bransford not moving there. Herder shot, Aaron one there. That's a great defensive stand.
Right there, again, showing why Bransford is such a versatile defender for this team. Just being able to guard anyone, even the guards such as Jillian Herder.
Yeah, prosperous shot. I believe that's a long 2-pointer. That misses everything. It'll be Fairfield ball going the other way. Notre Dame's going to make a sub here, as it looks like it's going to be Coles checking in here for Prosper. Not sure if this will be her last minutes of the game, but if it is, she is going to end with a very solid game. 17 points on 7 of 12 shooting, 8 rebounds, 3 blocks, and 2 steals.
And well, the clock is ticking down. I think for Fairfield in these last 4.5 minutes, just play with your head up and play with the best ball you can.
Yeah, Megan Anderson did so right now. She's up to 21 now, certainly having a game for herself here, now shooting above 50% on the game, has found that three-point shot this half. DeJesus finds Coles. Back to DeJesus, a little bit of give and go. Yep, beautiful execution there. Just that shot didn't hit the rim, and it'll be a turnover Notre Dame.
And right there on that play, again, Cole's wide open shot on the right side again, going for that laid up, but Jillian Herder again from behind blocks it. It goes off the bottom of the backboard and then out of bounds. And a turnover for Notre Dame.
Yep, so Lamoureux's going to take it here. And find Meg. Meg wanted a three, but good defense by DeJesus to disrupt that. Herder has it up top, hesitating a little bit here. But it's going to cut on Sanchez, but maybe not. She's going to go to Coe, who has just 2 points on the game. Herder has 9, her 3. Rims around. Coe with a good board and finish there.
Right now, again, Fairfield just playing with their hearts out for the last 3.5 minutes, trying to just get this score as close as they can and just playing the best basketball they can for the remainder of this game.
Yeah, and, that's what you have to do. Coach Carly Thibodeau stresses start to finish. You can't give up, and that is not in Fairfield's program whatsoever. So Coles is going to have the ball here. 3:10 to go in this game. Nice bounce pass to Sanchez, who took a big fall there. However, it will be Fairfield possession.
Again, Fairfield fighting for those boards as much as they can, and again, they are just doing everything at this moment to get in this game and just play it as hard as they can.
Yeah, so they're down 18. Notre Dame on a 2-minute scoring drought here. Herder's going to have the ball. Her 3, short. Rebound there by DeJesus. And if you're Notre Dame here, the clock is your friend right here. You can see a little bit more of a slower jog up to their end of the court here, and Janelle Brown's going to check into the game here at the next dead ball. Moore is, in the meantime, up for Notre Dame. Coles, Coe on her. Moore on the perimeter with Anderson on her. Switch defense. Moore's 3. Rims in and out. Coles with the offensive board. Gets the roll to go, and she's up to 6.
And from the bench, Hannah Hidalgo, a little bit of chirping to Katie Lamoureux as she was coming up the court.
Yeah, and Herder's 3 was good there. She's now in double digits. 3 of 7 from 3, has 12 points on the game. Tough finish there by DeJesus, and Notre Dame's loving that one there. And Janelle Brown's going to check in for Cyan Coe here. DeJesus is up to 6 points on the game. This will be our first free throw attempt upcoming. And that one rims around and out. No good. Rebound Anderson. She's up to 5 on the game. Cindy Scott's 3. Good, and Fairfield's had a little bit of a three-point barrage here. They're up to 9. 9 of 24, 38%. But Moore's going to work on Lamoureux. Lamoureux acting like the pit bull that she has been described by her teammates, as along with Nellie Brown. But they're going to get a foul on the floor. No, it's going to be an offensive foul. Never mind.
Foul is going to be on Ayana Moore for the illegal screen. It seems like Sydney Scott drawing that foul as she was coming over on defense.
Yep, so Notre Dame's going to make some substitutions here. It'll be number 1 here for Notre Dame, Kelly Radigan. Number 11, Jordan Smith, seeing their first minutes of the game, checking in for Coles and DeJesus. So Radigan, the junior guard out of South Bend, Indiana, hometown native there, seeing her first minutes, as Jordan Smith from Granger, Indiana, the transfer from Holy Cross. Anderson's finished too strong there. Rebound Bransford. Bransford going to opt to go to Moore here. 1:18 left in the game. 20 on the shot clock. Notre Dame just trying to drain the clock here, but Moore gets some separation. Hesitated, but shoots it and gets it to go. She's up to 18 now. Nellie Brown got to cut to the hoop. Her finish blocked there by Bransford. Good stand there, not doing too much there. Just Bransford letting Nellie Brown come to her.
And a couple more subs for the Stags as Cyanko and Milou Van Vliet will come in. Milou being the freshman from the Netherlands, seeing her first action in the NCAA tournament. Subbing out for Sydney Scott and Janelle Brown as they are going to get their moments here. Two of the seniors on this team getting their hugs from the coaching staff as it seems to be their last game for the Fairfield Stags.
Well-deserved applause for the Fairfield faithful that have checked in here, but Herder takes a shot there. And that's going to be an offensive foul going the other way.
Foul on Jordan Smith, a hard screen right there as she goes falling to the ground. As for Fairfield now, Christina Pham, another freshman for the team, coming in for Jillian Herder.
Yeah, we got 51 seconds left in this one here. Notre Dame going to hang on for the win here against a gritty Fairfield Stags bunch. Finds Milou Van Vliet in the post. Opts to go to Co. Finds Meg. Her three. Short. Rebound there by Jordan Smith. And 4 seconds separating the shot clock and the game clock. Going to slow things down here. The seniors getting embraces from the coaching staff and the rest of the team. Certainly stellar careers for all four of them. Lauren Beach, Allie Campbell, Janelle Brown, and Sydney Scott. As Gazella Sanchez, there's a toss-up for the ball here. Gazella Sanchez takes a hard foul, but she gets right back up immediately. Looks to be okay.
It actually seems like they may have called a jump ball on that from the tussle between Pham and Sanchez right there.
And Notre Dame will make one more substitution here. It'll be Bella Tarani, checking in here for Gizella Sanchez.
And a timeout called. Don't know by who yet, but it seems like maybe a timeout by Fairfield in the last 8.4 seconds.
Yeah, and it's just good to get these rotation players for Fairfield who don't get a lot of playing time during the regular season, get some March Madness exposure. You know, this time of year is special for everybody. You know, this is what you want to play in the biggest stage of them all as a young player. So any exposure is good exposure for these players. And a lot of these players will certainly be a big part of Fairfield's roster, most likely, as soon as next season, honestly, because there will be some roster turnover as Beach, Sydney Scott, Janelle Brown, Allie Campbell, Jalen Sackrider, they will all be departing Fairfield. We want to thank them for their careers here. Certainly 5 solid collegiate careers as a whole, especially Nelly and Beach, who have been with Fairfield since their freshman years. Lauren Beach, a 5-year Stag, Janelle Brown, a 6-year Stag, and more importantly, integral members of the Fairfield campus community.
Exactly. All 5 of these members have been so big to this program, so big to elevating this program to the next stage, to being one of the top mid-majors in the country, to being considered one of the top 25 teams in this country. It's just been a big honor to watch them play. At the same time, as you said before, some of these freshmen, like Milou Van Vliet and Christina Pham, they're going to have big moments next year playing for this team.
Absolutely, and Meg's going to hoist a 3 up. That's going to go in and out. Rebound here, Lamro. She's going to chuck one up. Believe her foot was on the line. However, that's going to end this game as the Notre Dame Fighting Irish will advance to the round of 32 in a valiant effort by the Fairfield Stags and both the Notre Dame Fighting Irish for that matter. 79-60 is our final score, and the Notre Dame Fighting Irish will advance to the round of 32 to face the Ohio State Buckeyes. Mike, certainly a convincing victory for Notre Dame, but it didn't come easy at times.
No, it did not. Again, you saw at times when Fairfield just started to build some runs. They just started to find ways to score in different ways or create turnovers on Notre Dame. But at the end of the day, just Notre Dame, as I said before, business as usual. They came in, they took care of business. They got the turnovers they wanted. They let their defense control the pace. Again, 11 steals on the day. That's going to be the big circle on this game to where Notre Dame really won this game. Looking at
some of our deeper dive into stats for your victorious Notre Dame Fighting Irish. It was a 3-headed monster effort led by Hannah Hildog, who had 23, 9, and 6. Iona Moore contributed 18, and Kassan Prosper had 17 in her own right. For the Fairfield Stags, Megan Anderson led the way with 21. Certainly her best appearance in a March Madness game in her 3 years as a Fairfield Stag. Jillian Herder contributed 12 on 4 of 12 shooting, and to round out the double-digit scores, Janelle Brown had 10 points. And you can see Janelle Brown now wavering to the crowd of the Fairfield faithful who made the trip here, as will be the rest of the Fairfield program. Certainly another successful season, but it comes to an end here in Columbus, Ohio, and what a ride it has been.
Yes, what a ride it's been. It's not the result you want, but again, you're making ever more slight steps in the right direction. If you're looking at right now, 3 years ago, where this program was, again, starting with Coach Carly, winning 3 straight tournaments, MAC tournaments, getting yourselves higher in rankings in terms of NCAA tournaments, but also in terms of AP rankings, in coaches rankings. This team is on the up and up, and I think next year is due for a big year for Fairfield. Yes, there's a lot of turnover, but I also feel like some of the freshmen that they're going to bring in, that they've already brought in this year, and some of the freshmen they bring in next year, and the transfer portal, especially at this time of year and this day and age, the transfer portal is so important. I mean, let's take a look at Notre Dame. Several of their players are transfers from different schools, whether they are graduate students or seniors. Again, this is a learning process. This is a learning process for some of these players, but also this is a big moment for some of these players to say, hey, I made it to the dance, and I got to play in the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, and certainly this team has gotten better every year. Their seed has gone up. More importantly, their recognition has gone up, and this stronger non-conference schedule. I've been to 3 March Madnesses in my 4-year broadcasting career at WVOF Sports, and it's been an absolute joy to watch this team progress. And, I'm going to miss this, and we're going to miss this, but, certainly the future remains bright for Fairfield women's basketball in this amazing program, and certainly, even in the loss, you want to run with the Stags or run from them. So, from Andrew Jamison and Michael Kelleher from Columbus, Ohio in Value City Arena, Notre Dame takes this one 79-60. Have a good night, everybody.